The following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
Tonight, the Florida State Nation awakens. They've been waiting for this moment. The Miami Hurricanes are in town. The first test for the reigning ACC champs. A new identity with former foe Everett Golson at quarterback. Against a Canes club in urgent need of a signature win. They are quietly confident underdogs. The big challenge, translating that to an upset tonight. Welcome to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo, and this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. From Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, it's a high-stakes in-state rivalry. The undefeated 12th-ranked Florida State Seminoles against their rivals from downstate, the Miami Hurricanes. And welcome, Chris Fowler, along with Kirk Herbstreit. Our pleasure to bring you this great rivalry. We had a classic, Kirk, last year. 26 years ago, I was on the sidelines when these two teams got after it. I savor every one of these occasions. Tonight, a little bit different. Florida State, in the post-Winston era, searching for a new identity. They're 4-0. They got a 26-game ACC winning streak. And Miami, coming off a loss to Cincinnati, desperately in need of a win.
I think Miami, because of the loss to Cincinnati and because of the circumstances with their head coach, Al Golden, and because of what's happened the last 2 years when they've lost to Florida State, they have fallen off the deep end. This is desperation mode in my mind for Al Golden and the Canes. They need a win. And for Florida State, as you said, a kind of a new era. Jameis Winston and that craziness is behind them. Now it's Everett Golson, and now they're trying to kind of find a new identity.
It's a one-and-done situation for Golson after graduating from Notre Dame. Still getting used to seeing him in the garnet jersey wearing number 6.
I'm still struggling myself. When I think of Everett, I still think of him all those years at South Bend. In fact, you and I at this stadium calling that epic game when he was trying to fight for a victory for the Fighting Irish, only to come up a little bit short. And now to see what he's done. Think about it. He's played against these guys, and now he's on this campus, and he's still trying to find his way. We're talking to Jimbo Fisher this week, and even on the field before the game, he said, you know, he's getting close. He's getting closer. They're going to open up the playbook that much more tonight to hope that he can make some plays with his arm and with his legs. And they also feel the big question all week has been about the health of their tailback, Dalvin Cook. Cook, according to Jimbo Fisher, he kind of smiled at you and I when we asked him on the field, is he okay? Smiled and said he's good to go. So Dalvin Cook, a big part of their offense. When he can get going, it takes so much pressure off of Everett Golson in the passing game.
They're hoping that hamstring holds up. If there's one team that he wants to play against, it's the hometown Miami Hurricanes. For Miami, you know about the heat on Al Golden. He's not been able to beat Florida State. Many believe that this is absolutely crucial for this team, that they beat the Noles for the first time in his tenure.
Well, and I think for them to be able to do that, it's going to require a really good game by his quarterback, Brad Kaya, who I think is one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC. The challenge for Kaya and for the Canes is, can they protect him on the road in this environment where there's going to be a lot of hostility. He's coming off a game where Cincinnati hit him almost every time he threw. For them to be able to play well, they need balance, and they need Kaya in rhythm to be able to make good decisions, because he's got some players around him.
If there's one part of the Noles that have been playing in top gear, it's the defense. The offense has been winning in second gear so far. May need to upshift tonight. The Noles and the Canes from Tallahassee coming up.
The game you've been waiting for.
We're talking Florida State versus Miami.
This is what college football rivalry is all about.
This is one of the games you come to Florida State to play in.
At the end of the year, it matters if you beat Florida State.
There's no question this game is a must-win for both teams.
A rivalry that divides Florida, the pine forests of the Panhandle and the palm tree tropics. Roots run deep to the formative football years of men who put friendships aside for a few hours. They have given us powerful memories, the many moments, those infamous misses, the suspense and surprises, the collisions that still define legacies. seasons. Now in a streaky series, the Seminoles hold the upper hand, which only makes the Hurricanes hungry. All the passion plays out in Tallahassee tonight. A pleasant evening in North Florida with the pyrotechnic smoke still hanging in the air as both teams have just taken the field for this rivalry renewed. Osceola, Brendan Carter, student from Georgia, and this year has the honor. So Heather Cox with the coach's team is going to try to conquer all this atmosphere tonight. Heather?
Indeed, Chris, thank you so much. Coach, this is one of the most storied rivalries in college football. Yet this week you talked about not overemphasizing the importance of it. So how would you describe the mindset of your team as it gets set to kick off?
Focused. We emphasized it. You can't get around it now. We wanted to be a part of this game. We set our sights on just focusing on ourselves and playing the best game we can here tonight.
So in your mind, what is the key to success in this environment?
Got to have a good start. Got to have great communication at the line of scrimmage. Got to do a great job tackling Dalvin Cook and the running backs.
Coach Golden, thank you.
Kirk, the game plan's all laid out. We'll just see if they can execute. Jimbo Fisher, of course, undefeated against Miami. They haven't lost a home game in the last 17. Late in 2012, and 3 years ago this week, they last lost a conference game.
We've been around him a lot, and just being around him and talking to him, even on the field before the game, he feels very confident coming into this game, because I think where he is with his team, he feels that the first 3 or 4 weeks they've been learning, and now it's time to start to open some things up and start to show some things that they haven't quite done up to this point.
Seminoles won the toss and deferred. The Hurricanes will get the ball first, and so we'll see Brad Kaya and that offensive line you mentioned go to work first. Kaya, as a freshman, had the ball in his hands last year trying to drive the field and upset the Noles, but Jalen Ramsey stepped in front and picked him off. Here's Everett Golson. Still has to be a somewhat surreal experience for him to be in the Florida State sidelines in here.
No
he
doubt.
did beat Miami, remember, 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
Mark Walton, number 1, the talented true freshman, deep to receive the kick of Roberto Aguayo, but this, like most of his kickoffs, will be out of the end zone. So Kaya comes out, Kirk. He's got some pretty good numbers, but in some situations he's really struggled. Can they move the chains on 3rd down tonight?
Well, he's a rhythmic quarterback, meaning they need to allow him to get back in the pocket, take a hitch, get the football out of his hands. Remember last year when he went up against his Florida State defense, a lot of success early, 6 of 9, a lot of big plays. They attacked the Florida State defense. A year later, more mature. Let's see how they plan to attack here early on the road.
Joe Yearby, the sophomore from Miami, is to the quarterback's left. They fake it to him, and Kaya stands and delivers complete over the middle. A 1st down catch. And running free is Stacy Coley, who's back healthy. He's been nursing a hamstring injury. They love having this speedy receiver back.
And we just said last year he came out with his guns blazing, just looking for receivers downfield. This time I think Coley does a nice job of working in between the linebackers, and there's the patience and experience from Kaya.
22 yards on the opening play. It's been a very fast starting Miami offense this season. Yearby cuts it back. He was a backup last year, of course. Duke Johnson carried the load for the Canes. He's not necessarily a top-end speedster, Kirk, but a rugged quick back.
Oh, yeah. I like Yearby and Mark Walton, the true freshman, number 1, who'll get in there to complement Yearby as much as he can. But Yearby and Walton both out of the backfield. The running game, it's not just to show it. They need balance tonight to slow down the defensive line from Florida State.
Yearby goes in motion on 2nd and 5, and it's a slant, drops. It's been a problem. That's one of the young tight ends. David Njoku, a freshman from New Jersey. Great athlete, but very catchable ball.
Yeah, and the tight ends are a big part of their plan. Njoku at 6'4", 245 pounds. And Herndon, number 23, is 6'4", Dobard is 6'4", big physical tight ends, and they want to try to get downfield. Now, here they are in third down.
Where they've been horrendous this season, second worst in FBS. Kaya throws incomplete. Pre-snap, Kirk. Boy, you see those Noles just bailed out, didn't they?
Yeah, they showed him blitz in a lot of press coverage, and this is what an experienced secondary can do for Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator. Look how tight they are up here. Look right here, and then look, they're going to come, and also over here, they're going to take away the slot receivers. They show pressure, and then they fool him. He tries to hang with it as long as he can, but his receiver that time, Barrios, could not work in front across the defender. Nice job of disguising coverage there on third down.
Justin Vogel has been a terrific punter. That snaps the streak, by the way. The last 6 games, Miami had gotten some points out of their opening possession. Vogel trying to pin the Noles deep for their first possession. And the fair catch is made by Bobo Wilson. So the Noles in their first possession will start in very poor field position. You know, we're used to seeing a Florida State quarterback, whoever it is under Fisher, slinging the ball down the field, making big plays. Really a different look so far, isn't it?
Yeah, they have been spoon-feeding him the offense. They've been relying more on Dalvin Cook in the running game and just being more balanced, high percentage throws. I think that has a chance of changing tonight. I think you'll see a more mobile, athletic Golson, and I think they feel confident their receivers can attack the Canes downfield.
Brad thrilled to see number 4 Dalvin Cook in the lineup. It's Wilson on the flank, a low throw. Catch is made, but they'll lose yardage. Cook, of course, pulled up very early with that hamstring issue because he's a key guy for this offense.
Absolutely. We'll take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players for Florida State. It starts with, we've been talking about him all night, the health of Dalvin Cook and whether or not he's going to be able to go for 4 quarters with the hamstring. Travis Rudolph now becomes a veteran as a sophomore. And then you have Raphael Kirby, who's a leader of this defense, along with Dion Bush, number 2, who's a 4-year starter for the Canes.
They lost 2 on the Wilson completion. Now on second down, it's Wilson again, trying to get to the edge. A hard hit at the 13-yard line. It'll set up 3rd and long. Trent Harris, the outside linebacker, drove him out.
You know, the game within the game from Miami with a veteran secondary is their punter did a nice job of pinning Florida State deep for their first possession with a quarterback who's still feeling his way as far as seeing and recognizing things and trusting his eyes. It's a big 3rd down to try to get good field position back for Brad Kaya. A lot of man-to-man coverage from Miami. Golson needs to find his favorite matchup that he likes to try to go after and exploit.
Empty backfield. Play clock winding down. Miami rushes 4. Golson in the pocket, delivers a first down strike. Erman Lane, and they move the chains.
You just said you got man-to-man coverage across the board, and you've got to be able to find who you like. You're going to see this right here, which clears the entire area and eventually finds his man to the top with a physical mismatch there. Lane again is 6'3", 205 pounds, and that's the Everett Golson you're used to seeing, throwing in rhythm, putting the ball right on the money and in stride for his receiver.
Lane, one of the many Noles from South Florida and Homestead. So 3 passes in 3 plays for Golson. And he's going to look to throw again. Dumps it off in the flat. And the catch is made by Maven Saunders. Young tight end. One of the group of guys trying to replace Nick O'Leary, of course.
And you're so locked in on Dalvin Cook. A nice little counter boot. And then you find a wide open tight end and Saunders out in the flat. The linebackers' eyes, they got lost in the backfield, assuming that Cook on 1st and 10 would get the football. Good play call there by Jimbo Fisher.
And from the I formation, it's an option look. Golson. Late pitch to Cook, who's got the edge. Dalvin Cook's off and running. Hamstring looks just fine. Touchdown, Florida State, 72 yards. I think he looks just fine, Kirk, number 4.
Yeah, he sure does. And you know, that's the first time we've seen the option, the speed option from Florida State with Everett Golson. And Miami caught off guard there, and Golson runs the option to perfection And a great block will show in the replay there by Travis Rudolph.
Dalvin Cook's into fast starts. 94 yards in his first touch at Wake Forest. Injured himself soon after that. A 91-yard, 5-play scoring drive. And Aguayo makes it 167 for 167 in his career for PATs. What a start for the Noles.
Yeah, he waits to the last second to ditch that off. The linebacker, Kirby, took him. The quarterback allowed him to get it to the outside. But, Chris, once he made the pitch, it's the speed there of Cook, who's healthy, and the block by Rudolph that got him free.
Seminoles quickly turned poor field position into 7 points after Miami had gained 22 in their first play. Punted it deep. Golson began passing to set up the run. That option look touchdown run by Cook.
Dalvin Cook represents, coming into this football game, 74% of the rushing offense of Florida State. That's the highest of any back in the country. So when he was in question, that was a major concern, but clearly he's ready to roll tonight.
Another deep kickoff. A little wrinkle from Jimbo Fisher, huh?
Yeah, a little freeze option here, and what you're trying to do is take one guy. Here, Miami uses two guys to take Golson, a quarterback, makes it easy to pitch it, and then right here is the block at the top. Watch, you'll see Rudolph help him out. Two guys take the quarterback. He waits to the last second. Look at Travis Rudolph working hard there on Tracy Howard. He stays inbounds, and there's just nobody left because Deion Bush came up to help Kirby on the quarterback.
Fullback had nobody to block. Stevenson was just out there. There was no Kane in front of him.
Exactly.
So now, Kaya and the Canes in a deficit with their second possession from the 25. Fake it to Yearby. Another first down throw. And it's complete. And it's Dan Dobart, another one of the tight ends. They'll throw to 3 different tight ends tonight.
Yeah, we talked earlier about Dobart's side along with Herndon. All these guys are 6'4", and there is a big advantage when the Noles go to man-to-man pressure when you have a tight end left one-on-one, and that's something that Brad Kaya is aware of and something that he's worked all week on to try to find those matchups.
Kaya has a lot of freedom to change the play of the line, doesn't he?
He sees man-to-man on the outside.
Yearby tests the left side, not much, but enough for a first down. He's such a bright guy, this sophomore, isn't he? And I want to get your thoughts as the game unfolds on the responsibility that he does have at the line and the freedom that he's given.
Well, he in his second year in his system, the coaches do feel comfortable with his eyes and his preparation, not just during the week, but during the offseason, that he knows what's going on. The problem is it's not just the quarterback that needs to know what's going on. You got an offensive line with a lot of new faces. They're still trying to build continuity.
Kaya backpedaling, looking for somebody, now just checks it down, and Yearby makes a catch. He's hit immediately. It was a good tackle by Tyler Hunter, the safety. Gain of about 4 on first down.
So this Florida State defense over the last couple years, think about some of the names that they have lost. Timmy Jernigan, Christian Jones, Telvin Smith, Terrence Brooks, LaMarcus Joyner. That was 2 years ago. The guys that they lost just a year ago, with Eddie Goldman and Mario Edwards. Some P.J. Williams, Ronald Darby, all these guys are playing on Sunday, but there's still enough of a nucleus here of guys that can still play the game on this side of the ball for Florida State.
Kaya on 2nd and 7, takes a downfield shot, loops it for Coley, who makes the catch. Did he get away? Dives down inside the 25, and the Canes are probing deep in that secondary with success.
Well, they're finding, again, much like what Dever Golson's trying to do, he's finding a matchup with their fastest wide receiver. Look at that mismatch. He goes right by Tyler Hunter, who's a nickelback or a safety. One-on-one against the fastest receiver, you take it.
And gaining 26 yards, they get to the edge here, and it's Herb Waters. Picks up about 5. They are so almost desperate to avoid third, medium, third, and long with the lack of success they've had.
You go back and look at, not just did they come in 127th. Let me say that again. 127th in the country at third down. But I think it's what's put them in those situations. They're not facing a lot of 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3s. They've had so many penalties that have gotten them off schedule that they've come in tonight saying, let's have positive yards on 1st and 10. Let's get to that 2nd medium and 3rd and short.
And 2nd and 6. Kaya loops it far side. And just over the outstretched hands of Njoku there. So it will be 3rd and 6. Canes are in the red zone, which has been a real problem area for them as well.
Charles Kelly is the defensive coordinator from Florida State, and he believes in a high-risk defense. There he is with his hands up. They play a lot of man. Right now, what I see in some man-to-man is Kaya finding guys who are getting lost in coverage. They might be running with the receivers, but they're not getting their head turned to find the football, and Kaya's eventually going to make them pay for it.
On 3rd down, Knowles bring pressure. Complete across the middle of the 5. It's a 1st and goal. That's Braxton Berrios, the 5'9" slot receiver who's nursing a knee injury, but finally back at full speed. There's a flag, however, in the backfield.
Roughing
and the Knowles have roughed the passer.
With targeting, number 20 on the defense.
That's Trey Marshall.
Is under review.
So Trey Marshall will be tossed out of this game unless the review overturns it, Kirk.
Yeah, it looked like a personal foul, but we'll have to take a closer look. I don't know if this is necessarily targeting. I think he hits him lower than that.
You know, it's the crown of the helmet can't be used anywhere on the opponent. Let's see if he does lower the head. It's tough to see from there.
It is. I thought he hit him first with the shoulder.
Dave Katai is our rules expert.
Great look at it right here.
Ted Jackson, Dave, is the replay official. What's your view on that hit?
Well, the hit's clearly, to me, below the shoulder. The only question here is, did he hit him with the crown of the helmet? That view really doesn't show us that.
Quick question, Dave.
Yes, sir.
If he hits him, that last view, if he hits him with the shoulder first, and then the headgear comes in after, what would that call be?
The key is forcible contact with the crown of the helmet above the shoulder. Very possibly that would not be forcible contact with the helmet.
Okay.
He does lower the head and hit the solar plexus of the quarterback there.
You can watch him lower the head right here. The key is the contact.
You can see the impact on Kaya's head.
I personally thought he hit with the shoulder and then came in with the head. The head followed, but
key is they have to see enough to overturn it.
Yeah, it has to be 100%.
The one thing that we know for sure is there was a huge hole right here, and you're going to see the receiver work his way into the middle of the defense. Look at the void in the middle of that defense because of the blitz, and look at the hit that Brad Kaya takes. We've been talking about it, but I just love that he stands in there knowing, he just knows that Trey Marshall's about to unload on him, and he still stood right there and made the throw to Barrows for the 1st down.
The catch moved the ball to the 5. The penalty has moved it half the distance to the 2.5 as this review continues. We'll hear now from Jeff Flanagan.
After review, it is confirmed that number 20 used the crown of the helmet, hit the quarterback. Number 20 is disqualified. That penalty will be added half the distance to the end of the run. 1st down.
And that is a major loss because with Nate Andrews right now not in this football game, Trey Marshall and the true freshman Derwin James were going to come in to really spot him. You lose Trey Marshall, significant blow means Tyler Hunter will have to play that much more along with LaMarcus Brutus.
They're pretty deep and they got a bunch of versatile guys back there, but you're right, this does test it. And the Canes now trying to answer Cook's touchdown run, have a 1st and goal inside the 3. Fumble exchange, and Kaya takes a loss back to the 8. Not a clean handoff between the quarterback and Yerby. Ouch.
Yeah, that was a play that Miami would love to have back, and I mean literally have back from the beginning. Look at the top, Chris. Look at this. Look at the defenders. If to snap the football, he could hook shot a touchdown pass out there.
Instead, they lose about 6 yards. Kaya looks left immediately, fires middle and incomplete, way over the head of Rashawn Scott, so it's 3rd and goal. Niall Horn-Stample pressured him.
So White on coverage there. It's like their feet got caught up and no call. It's a good no call by the officials, setting up this big 3rd down.
That's a major faux pas for Florida State that you spotted that the quarterback didn't save. That's an automatic touch. And now, 3rd and goal.
Yeah. 4 of 13 in their last 2 games down in the red zone as far as coming up with touchdowns. 3rd down in the red zone. 2 areas that they knew they were going to have to be better tonight to be able to win.
Play clock at 2. Kaya cannot escape, will be sacked. DeMarcus Walker, the junior from Jacksonville, got him.
The play just took too long to develop, and I'll give DeMarcus Walker off the edge here a lot of credit because he uses just speed to go right around a dog woo. I mean, look at the speed that he uses, just nice little swim technique or rip technique to get around him. But Brad Kaya's waiting and waiting and waiting for his receivers to do something. He tries to climb in the pocket, but Walker's quickness does not allow him to be able to buy any time.
So Michael Badgley for a 30-yard field goal. Knocks it through. The Canes kick more red zone field goals than anybody. That's not a stat you want to lead the country in. Cut the lead, though, to 7-3.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo. Brought to you by Aflac. Wells Fargo. On your phone, online, on the go. Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done. And Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Goodyear bringing you the aerial coverage. Kick off your drive with tires that return superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. The official aerial provider of Saturday Night Football. Lots happened in the first 8 minutes here. And you see Jalen Ramsey wearing the unretired for the moment, number 17 of Charlie Ward. You can't have 2 number 8s on the kickoff return team. So Kermit Whitfield, the regular number 8, is in there. And Jalen goes from his 8 to honor the Heisman Trophy winner, wearing number 17. We'll see if he gets a chance. It's going to go to Whitfield over his head and a touchback. We say hello to Cassidy Hubbard for their first studio update tonight. Cassidy?
Hi, Chris. Hi, Herbie. Taco Bell studio update. Arkansas and Alabama over on ESPN. Brandon Allen to Drew Morgan. 4-yard TD pass. Alabama has missed 2 field goals. Razorbacks up 7-3 at the half.
Wow.
How about that?
Tide offense putting a 3-spot on the board and a half against Arkansas.
You know, if they can't run the ball, it puts a lot on Jake Coker.
We'll keep you posted on that game. Stevenson motions out, leaving Cook as the deep back on 1st down. And they fake it to him. Golson taking a peek downfield and has a wide open man. Izzo, the tight end, inside the Canes 40. Looking very much like O'Leary from a year ago there.
Boy, great job by giving him enough time for him to sneak behind the linebackers. He's right here. He'll work his way up and then across. Look at the amount of time that this play requires for the tight end Izzo to get there. And Everett Golson can make these throws, and especially when you have a receiver that wide open. He just got lost in coverage.
37 yards in his first downfield throw. Everett is 5 for 5. It's a fast start. Heather?
Chris, before the game, I talked to Coach Jimbo Fisher and asked him how much he thought he'd be able to use Dalvin Cook, and he confidently said, I think I can have him carry up to 20 times. Now, Chris, the reason for that confidence, they've been using a GPS on Dalvin all week. It allows them to see his burst, his acceleration, maintained acceleration, and top speed. They used it extensively so that they didn't overload him and compared it to him before he was injured, really to take the guesswork out. And I'd say that first TD run bringing even more confidence.
That's why they felt confident, Heather. Good stuff. Golson, a throw on 2nd down, flips it short, and there is Cook. Beats the corner. Dancing down the sideline. Makes a cut. Cook scored twice.
You know what's beautiful about that? That wasn't even a screen. That was a check down by Everett Golson. Instead of taking the big shot downfield, the receivers cleared the entire area out, and he just checked it down to Dalvin Cook. How important is he in this offense?
Well, Florida State, they've been, by their own lofty standards, lacking in explosive plays the first 4 games. How about a 74-yard touchdown run on the first possession, a 37 and then a 36-yard touchdown pass on that possession?
Yeah, watch the right side. Look at these receivers just kind of work their way out of the way, and he just checks it down. Now it's just one-on-one. He outruns Kirby, the middle linebacker, and then he uses a little bit more speed and makes another guy miss, and it's another touchdown for Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook had never caught in the pass for a touchdown until that play. 3 touches, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the guy from Miami Central High School, the high school teammate of the Canes top back tonight, Joe Yearby. They call each other brothers for life. They didn't talk this week, Yearby told me. They left it aside for game week, but so far it's been Cook, the story. Here's a kickoff that Walton, the freshman's going to have a chance to return, but he muffs it. Scramble for the ball, almost a disaster for the Canes, already down 11, but Walton does recover.
Go back to this touchdown, and I really think this is a design play where your receivers at the top work their way across the field to open up that huge amount of room here for Dalvin Cook to outrun Raphael Kirby to the corner. And then this is just what makes him special. That's a poor effort there and a tackle there by Deion Bush, and he gets into the end zone for that touchdown. And when he gets these chances to score touchdowns in his career, look at this. 16 touchdowns in his career. They've averaged 35 yards a touchdown.
So now the Canes down 11, begin at their 10-yard line. Kaya again looks downfield, incomplete, off the hands of Rashawn Scott, the senior leading receiver on this team. Kind of catch you need to make if you're down early.
Again, middle of the field open. These Miami players have got to be able to secure these catches. He's going up into the air. I'm sure that would have been, especially in super slow-mo, it looks a lot tougher, but I think Scott knows that he's a very, very talented receiver. He can make that catch. But Kaya and his receivers right now attacking the interior of the Knolls in their coverage.
And it's early, Kurt. There's a very short gain for Yearby. But the way the Miami defense has been shredded, you begin to wonder if there's a little urgency for Kaya in this offense to do something. The Knolls are going to get great field position if they can't convert on 3rd and 9.
The field is beginning to tilt, without a doubt, favoring Florida State. Miami backed up near their own goal line. And Chris, Miami, they need more from their running game. They need more balance. Right now, they only have 5 running attempts, and they're at -3 rushing yards, and they're starting to become predictable with their play calling.
Last 3rd down play was a sack. Now is a flag. Looked like the Knolls jumped across where they'd drawn.
Depending on how they want to call this, Newberry jumped.
Lost start. Offense number 73. 5 yards. 3rd down.
It's the sophomore left tackle, Trevor Darling. So that'll back the Canes up 5 more and make this an even lower percentage 3rd down attempts. James Coley, the offensive coordinator, says it's not a lot that he's got on 3rd and 14.
No.
Especially in this noise. Kaya in his end zone, delivers, almost intercepted. That was dangerous. Marquez White was defending on Brady, and here comes a punt.
Yeah, and I don't think Kaya felt real good about that. Miami that time trying to find a receiver where you have 8 defenders in coverage, nobody open, and he essentially just had to throw that football away.
So Vogel will be near the end line to punt this away. Bobo Wilson standing at the Canes 46. It's a good boot. Wilson has to backpedal and call a fair catch at the Seminoles 46. This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Le'Veon Bell and the Steelers against Phillip Rivers and the San Diego Chargers. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. and an 8:15 kickoff over on ESPN on the Watch ESPN app. Canes and Knowles both represented by a few guys on those two teams. There's four linebackers between these two schools represented on the roster of Pittsburgh alone, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Timmons. All right, now Golson with an 11-point cushion, great field position. This is Wilson coming in motion to the far side. Golson pressured, escapes, and turns a sack into a positive gain. Juan Muhammad had a chance to make the play, could not. Cassidy?
All right, Chris, Dr. Pepper Championship Drive update. Number 2, TCU finding out it's never easy playing in Manhattan, Kansas. Charles Jones gone. 28-yard TD run. K-State up 21-17 in the second. Chris, Herbie?
Number 2 TCU down early. Alabama down at halftime.
Can Bill Snyder get a special trophy? Now, how does he do it every single year? He has more injuries than anybody, and somehow they're up on TCU right now.
Play action, they do flip it to Wilson on the far side. He gets a block on the edge, and he gets a first down inside the Miami 40. Jamal Carter drove him out, but the Knowles are clicking.
They are clicking, and I think this is the best that ever Golson has looked in a Seminoles uniform here. This last go-round, he is in control. They seem to just be having a tempo. They're attacking. They've not looked like this up to this point all year. And I think, again, it was premeditated. They knew they were going to open up this playbook tonight.
Totally different offense than we saw against Boston College and Wake Forest, and wins that were pretty close. Golson straight back on first down. Spins free again, and now fires complete over the middle. And catch is made by Travis Rudolph. Top receiver in this team in the early going. That's another first down.
You know, what's different in defending Everett Golson from Jameis Winston over the last couple of years, where Jameis's mind and his big playability through the air could hurt you on any given play, you still have Jimbo Fisher drawing up plays, and he still has that sophisticated passing attack, so you obviously have to be aware of that. Now, you've got to be aware, as we've seen tonight, the mobility. The quarterback run game is like another phase now you have to defend against Florida State with Golson under center.
And first down. This is Cook. Stretch play. Hit immediately. Everett Golson, of course, took the Irish to the championship game in 2012, had an academic fraud issue, set out the 13 season, came back in 2014 and had a lot of mistakes. You see that the 22 turnovers didn't end up playing in the bowl game, beaten out by Zaire, and then transferred after the spring.
And that's been the big thing. A lot of people said he's going to transfer to Florida State, and a lot of Notre Dame fans said, okay, take him and his 22 turnovers with him. He hadn't turned the ball over once this year. I don't want to jinx him.
Another high percentage throw, no chance of a turnover there. Rudolph takes it and moves the chains again. The Knowles are threatening to blow this wide open late first quarter.
And Jimbo Fisher senses that. That's one of the great things that he does as a play caller, is he's not just standing there calling plays, he senses things. And he knows right now that Al Golden and Miami came into this game with a sense of urgency, that they need this game, and they're on the road, and they're down 14-3 in Tallahassee. This is where he just keeps going attack, 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 going after Miami.
And he's got a quarterback in the kind of rhythm. We saw Golson have games like this at Notre Dame. This is Cook again, and the Canes wrestle him down for a short gain. Juan Muhammad on the tackle. Remember the game against Syracuse, the ball never hit the ground. I mean, Golson, yeah, a lot of them are high percentage throws, but he can be so precise when he's in the zone.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's just a matter of doing it consistently, and he opted to come down to Tallahassee to work with Jimbo Fisher, and he and Jimbo would admit to you that these first 4 games, he's a little hesitant, you know, and like anybody would be, still feeling out not just the system, getting the protections and the routes down, but also kind of feeling the timing out between Rudolph and Wilson and these other receivers.
Jimbo Fisher sprinted down to take a timeout, so they'll talk about things. 2nd and 8, final minute of the first quarter. ESPN's great college football action and everything else. Get it on the go with the Watch ESPN app. Download the app or go to watchespn.com. What a start for the Noles. 204 yards offense with a minute to go in the first quarter. Olsen's on fire. Cook looks healthy and explosive. And the Canes are in serious trouble if they can't keep the Noles out of the end zone here. Empty backfield off the timeout. Play clock at 4 when Golson takes off up the middle, has some space, gets a block, cuts back and dives for a 1st and goal at the 5. Deion Bush stopped him, but Golson showing the entire skill set tonight.
And Ryan Hofield, the center, tries to work down. Watch the center try to get downfield and pick up a linebacker. Does a really good job of cutting back. Remember, we just said Golson in the open field. You can't just play man-to-man coverage and worry about Jimbo Fisher's passing game. If you do that, you've got to be aware that number 6 is going to pull it down, and he becomes a running back when he holds on to that football.
2 tight ends and a fullback, old school football on 1st and goal. They fake it to Cook. Golson looks to the end zone and throws high. That time Izzo, the tight end, was very well covered.
Yeah, great coverage that time by Deion Bush, not biting on that play action. Love the aggressive attitude by Florida State on 1st and 10. Play action, a great time to try to catch a safety sleeping, coming up to stop the run, but Bush that time showed his discipline, stayed back, and really that time Golson just had to throw that football away.
His first incompletion after 9 straight to start the game.
Jameis had a few of those nights too.
He did. Cook is going to be stacked up and dropped for a loss back at the 5. Tyreek McCord, the banker, came around the edge.
That zone read look is, again, something new. It's just with Jameis they didn't want to get him hurt. They didn't run it. And Everett Golson, you'll see that play again, and he'll keep it. He'll score.
An electric start in Tallahassee for Golson and Cook. The end of the first quarter. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Welcome back to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo. 14-3 Seminoles after 1. They've now outscored opponents 49-3 in first quarters and trying to add to it now with a 3rd and goal from the 5. Empty backfield for Golson. 4 receivers. Bring pressure. Golson has time. Delivers far side. Diving catch. Touchdown. Kermit Whitfield. 3 drives, 3 scores for the Seminoles.
You know, we just talked about working his timing out. Look at this throw. Low and away with Whitfield. They're going to take a peek at that. But the timing here with Golson on 3rd down. Throws that football before Whitfield is out of his break, low and away. The defender, look at him, has no chance, but the ball definitely hit the surface. They're going to take a peek at that.
Was the ground aid in his control of the ball? No doubt he had his hands on it, as he said.
We'll have to ask the professional behind me, Dave. Dave knows everything, but the way I see it, Dave, it looks like the ground definitely helped him.
Well, you look at the point of the ball, and the point of the ball moves when he hits the ground. So, Kirk, I think you're absolutely right on this one.
And it's the same standard as the NFL. The movement of the ball is what they look for, right?
Watch the point.
Heck of an effort for Whitfield. He was just 5'8", laying out there for it. But right there. His hands were on the side of the ball. Were they gripping it?
I think it's probably going to be called an incompletion. But with the loss of Green to the NFL, Rudolph we know about, Bobo Wilson we know about, but Whitfield now as a junior is a guy that, as this season goes on, is going to be asked in the slot to make a lot of big plays for Everett Golson and for this offense.
Whitfield hadn't had a career touchdown reception till last week.
The ball hit the ground.
Told you.
The ball is incomplete. Fourth down.
Yes, Dave, you did tell us.
Right hash mark.
You did tell us.
Got to get one right.
So Ted Jackson turns it over in the replay booth, and now Aguayo will be out not to kick an extra point, but a short field goal. Aguayo, whose parents came from Mexico, he was born in Florida, will help us celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to be highlighting throughout October contributions of Hispanics in the world of sports. We'll hear from him momentarily, but first, a 22-yarder from a tricky angle. He's 52 of 57 kicking field goals in his career. No trouble for Aguayo. So now he's going to tell us about his transfer from football to football.
Desde niño, mi papá me tenía una pelota de fútbol soccer en mis pies y luego a los 9 años mis padres me ponieron a jugar fútbol americano, pero nunca sabía que podía ganar una beca para jugar en colegio y desde ahí mis padres y yo supimos que yo podía ir al colegio para patear y ganar una beca y gracias a Dios aquí estoy a ganarle a Miami esta noche.
Obviously a very likable kid, very talented guy from the first time he stepped on campus, and the field goal makes it 17-3 here in the earliest part of the second quarter.
Oh, here he goes. Well, this guy's not only going to win all the awards. He's going to be in the NFL. You'll be watching the NFL 10 years from now, and you're going to remember him? Was he in Florida State? Yeah. He's going to play for 10 or 15 years if he's healthy. He's one of the best I've ever seen.
And he misses one, which is rare. It's such a shock.
It's a story.
Aguayo boots it high enough, but short enough for Walton to have a chance. Remember, he fumbled the last time. It's his way through traffic, really takes a big shot at the 20 and is knocked down. To Cassidy Hubbard for an update.
Chris, let's take a look at who's getting it done, presented by Wells Fargo, and the Fighting Bill Snyders are getting it done. After Trevon Boykin pick, Charles Jones with his second TD of the day. They're back in the red zone. They're up 28-17 in the second. Back to you, Chris.
Wow, 11-point lead.
I mean, she's full of surprises tonight.
What special trophy did you want to give
anything?
Snyder?
I mean, Chris, it's one thing to just look at his roster when they're healthy against TCU. The way TCU, they were 30-0 on Texas in the first quarter last week. But that's incredible with the injuries they have.
So the Canes fortunate that the replay overturned the touchdown. The deficit, though, still 14.
Well, it's big. Obviously, we're still early. I mean, this game is just starting the second quarter. But it just sounds better when you're at 17-3 and you have the ball and you're thinking in that offensive huddle, guys, hey, we're fine. You go down in the length of this field, you somehow come up with a touchdown. You're only down a score. If you're down 21-3, that's a whole different story.
And while Cook is off to a monster start, his high school buddy, his close friend, Yerby, has not yet gotten going. 4 rushes for 9 yards. Empty backfield on 2nd and 9, and the Knowles come across the line of scrimmage there. But Lawrence Stample, a little eager to get at the quarterback with that empty backfield.
Incredible. Florida State averaging 12 yards a play early in this game.
Offside, defense number 99, unabated to the quarterback. 5 yards, 2nd down.
When Kaya has attacked Florida State's defense, it has been over the middle. They've hit some big plays over the middle. Florida State is splitting their safeties, and there's some area to work behind the linebackers for Kaya, especially with his bigger tight ends.
I wonder how much we saw that last year when Clive Walford, the talented tight end with the Raiders now, was able to hurt the Knowles, especially early in the game. So after the penalty, it's 2nd and 4, but again, nothing doing for Yerby. He and Cook together at Miami Central High School, it's almost unfair. They won 3 state titles in 4 years, but imagine having that 1-2 punch. And Yerby initially committed to Florida State, where James Coley was an assistant to Fisher, and when Coley took the job at Miami, Yerby flipped down and signed with the Canes.
I like what they said this week about being just brothers forever. But, when they compete against each other, they're obviously trying to beat each other. Big 3rd down again.
Canes just 1 of 4 so far, continuing the futility in this department all season long. Kai delivers far side. There's a catch made. It's very close to the marker. We're going to have to see where they spot it. LaMarcus Brutus came out and put the hit on Scott.
Yeah, I think they're going to give it to him.
I'd like the receiver to get a little farther across the line than Scott did.
Pretty generous spot there with the forward progress. So he has him right at the 30-yard line. Nose of the ball. And what you'll see Kaya do on 3rd down is Florida State plays a lot of man. When you get Brutus and Hunter, so if you're watching at home, he's looking at 42 and 1 in one-on-one opportunities to try to exploit that, because his receivers should be able to run away from safeties in one-on-one coverage.
I knew you said there were a lot of reasons, but the fact is Kaya 37% completions on 3rd down this year. Very, very poor, considering he's a 61% passer overall. Yerby hit hard, trying to outrun Knowles defense there, and Derwin James, the talented true freshman number 3, came up to lay a lick on him.
He's the one the crowd reacted to. He's number 3, and he is a guy that can lower the boom. They're as excited about him as any defender I can remember Jimbo Fisher recruiting. Newberry chasing a couple guys, and boom, right there you can see Derwin James. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, and one of the more highly touted recruits a year ago, a true freshman.
Comes out of Haines City. He's a humble 5-star player. He's confident in his ability, but he doesn't come in here expecting anything, Kirk. He knows he's got to earn his spot, and he has. Now Kaya to Scott, who makes the catch and dances out near the 42-yard line. That'll be a 1st down.
And when the first quarter went the way it did, a couple 1st downs like this from Miami, they're very, very important, just for, you know, all of a sudden you start to get a little bit more confident. You start to get into a little bit of a rhythm. And James Coley calling the plays starts to see some things that he can try to go after. Not to mention you get out of being deep in your own territory.
Yerby given a breather, and the true freshman Mark Walton is in the backfield. They fake it to him. Kaya throws for Scott into double coverage, makes the catch and gets away. Scott stretching for the end zone. Flags come in as he scores. What a play. As Scott beat 2 Knowles back there.
Well, I think the first guy that he beat, which is amazing, and James Coley told us this week, they were going to go after Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey, there he is, number 8, one of the top corners, and he's with him. He does not get his head turned around until too late to adjust back to the ball. And there's LaMarcus Brutus coming over to separate the football.
Foul. Grasping the face mask, number 8 on the defense. The touchdown will stand. That penalty will be assessed on the succeeding kickoff.
Well, they got Ramsey there.
Yeah, they did near the end of the play, but Scott does a remarkable job to come back to the ball and using the strength of his hands to take the ball away from the oncoming safety in Brutus, and then enough speed there to outrun Jalen Ramsey to get to the end of the end zone.
Teams always do this, give you a little funky look to see if the defense picks up, and then the punter, who's the holder, Justin Vogel, motions them back in, and here's Michael Badgley. As the Canes, after the review, we're down 14, not 18, then go 80 yards in 6 plays in 3:41 to cut into this lead. Suddenly it's a 7-point game.
Past 2 top 5 teams in some trouble, Chris.
Yeah, crazy night, Cassidy.
What? 35?
Kickoffs from midfield from John Semrine because of the assessment on the Ramsey face mask on the touchdown. And now Knowles will have a chance to return it anyway. Whitfield brings it out. 58 yards, Miami's longest play from scrimmage, Kurt.
Yeah, we talked about the play on the outside, but how about the protection? You got a blitz right up the middle, and it's picked up very nicely by the center, Nick Linder. Does it kind of submarines the linebacker as he's coming right through the middle, Reggie Northup. And then we talked about what an adjustment there by Scott. Comes back to the football, not only beats Jalen Ramsey, but also the safety Brutus, and then the speed to be able to get into the end zone for the touchdown. And that is a touchdown that comes at the right time for Miami They get the overturn on the touchdown by Kermit Whitfield. They go down, score. Now they're only down 1 possession, 1 touchdown. That helps the psyche.
Knowles got to hurry here. They snapped it at 2, and they pitch it to Cook, far side. And the Canes unable to really corral him. 8-yard gain. Only the second time the Knowles had given up a touchdown from outside of the red zone this year. Very few big plays allowed by the Knowles defense, but obviously a more potent offense they're facing tonight.
This Miami defense has had a long night, and we're only in the second quarter. They're having a hard time matching up with the tempo and kind of the attack mode that the Knowles have been in.
Cook, as a flag comes out, is knocked down. He did get first down yardage. You said a long night. You played 20 minutes, and they've given up 222 yards.
Yeah.
Offside, defense number 8. Penalty to be accepted, 5 yards. The result of the penalty is a first down.
A little different game than the last 2 Florida State opponents. You see what happened when Wake Forest and BC met in the ACC today? 3-0 for the Demon Deacons. They won a ball game with 5 first downs.
Wow.
You got to go back a ways.
Yeah, a long ways.
Down marker says second. Don't fix it. Yeah, it's first down after the penalty. And this is Cook with a crease. And a quick burst. And Darwin Cook appeared to sort of pull up again as he broke free. He appeared to feel a twinge, and you could see the quick deceleration, and he's walking to the sidelines with some bad body language.
Yeah, and you wondered, you knew all week you had a feeling he was going to try to give it a go, but how long would he be able to go, especially as how much work he's had. He looks fine here, but right as he starts to try to pull right there, pull away, you can see he reached down to that left hamstring again.
So 35-yard gain, he's out.
Right away, he wants to use that speed, and then he has to pull up.
Oh, man. Meanwhile, they bring in Jonathan Vickers, who carried on first down. That's the same hamstring, same spot that he grabbed a week ago early against Wake Forest. Already he's run for 119. He's only averaging 17 yards a carry, plus the touchdown reception, by the way. So Vickers in his first catch got 5, and now Golson flips it far side to Whitfield. And hammers down inside the 20 for a first down. Heather?
Chris, some good news for Florida State fans. I was just told by the athletic training staff that Dalvin Cook is simply cramping up in that hamstring. He did not re-injure it. Now, what's interesting is I was just talking to them about the whole GPS read. His top speed tonight, 21. His career top speed, 23. So far, so good if he can get that cramping taken care of.
23, by the way, is...
Jump on a treadmill real quick. Crank that baby up
fast.
to 23. That'll shoot you.
Vickers hammers ahead. Usain Bolt has the world record, by the way, the fastest running speed for a human between 60 and 80 meters of 100 meter. He ran 27.8. So think about that in a football field with pads.
Wow.
22-23 is flying.
It sure is. You're only at what, a 19 now at your age?
Dropped off after 50. Second and 3. Vickers, he doesn't have the burst, but Jimbo Fisher says this guy's a good athlete. He thinks Vickers is going to play on Sunday as a running back.
He's a different kind of back. 6'1", 226 pounds.
Well, he ran the ball once last year. They knew they were going to count on him more this year.
Yeah, and with Mario Pender out, they rely on him as that third guy, and he knew coming into this week he might get more of an opportunity. He had the 10 carries last week against Wake. But again, different back. He's physical. He's going to one cut, run downhill, lower his shoulder, and run right through arm tackles.
Power 2 tight end formation with a fullback on 3rd and 1. And Vickers does try to pick his way. Can't really get going, and the Canes stop him short. It'll be 4th and 1 at the 10.
Well, make no mistake, there's a different attitude when you don't have Dalvin Cook back there. How about Kendrick Norton, number 7, the true freshman? That time on 3rd and short, got a heck of a push and had a lot to do with why that play ended up not working out.
Looking on Cook there, you hear Fisher say how close. He wants to know exactly how much they need before he makes a decision on field goal. Why can't I get a measurement, he said there. We need to know how far it is. And he's going to call timeout to get the measurement. Okay. It's about, by my view, it's about a half yard, Kurt. they'll spend a timeout. We'll take a break, and we'll see after the measurement what Jimbo's decision is.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo. Brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. Allstate, proud supporters of college football. Are you in good hands? And AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Pleasant but breezy night for our friends in the blimp. Goodyear giving you the aerial coverage. Kick off your drive with tires that return superior performance. Goodyear, more driven, the official aerial provider on Saturday Night Football. So Jimbo Fisher was frustrated that the ACC crew wouldn't give him a measurement. They're going to look at the exact spot before he decides whether to go for it on 4th and short or send out Aguayo. They're challenging the spot. So let's take a look at where Vickers was stacked up here.
And there's the push by Norton. See number 7 kind of blows the play up. Pretty hard to see. I don't know how you spot that from the replay.
See the official on the far side running right in at the 10-yard line. Eventually spotted the ball inside the 10. It's good to see Cook up and testing that hamstring on the sideline. Jeff Flanagan, lip read him, I guess.
Really on the field stands.
Okay, Jeff, take 2.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. That is Florida State's second charge timeout and their final challenge of the ball game.
Okay, so nothing that they could see would change the spot of the football. So what do you do if you're Fisher? Do you count on being able to get it already up a touchdown here?
Well, this is an offense tonight that's been moving the football pretty much at will. Dalvin Cook's out of the lineup makes it a little bit different, but still confident. I mean, they're averaging 11 yards a play, and you got confidence in your defense. You got to go for it. You put the ball in the hands of number 6 and let him figure out whether it's a run or a pass. Or how about trusting that offensive line and running up the middle with Vickers without having Dalvin Cook in there.
Vickers lined up behind Stevenson, the fullback. Couple tight ends in the game. Vickers. No! Stacked up. He'll lose yardage. Dion Bush, the safety, came around the edge. You see Golden out on the field. Fired up as the Miami defense makes a stand.
This Miami defense again, and it's number 7, Chris. It's the true freshman, Kendrick Norton. Watch number 7 right here, and watch this push. He comes right through the A gap between the left guard and the center. He blows that play up, and that defense really took control of the line of scrimmage, and that's why Al Golden is fired up on these last 2 plays.
Saturday in this time slot, the Ohio State Buckeyes ranked number 1 against Penn State. The Lions defense rose up, smothered Indiana today. Hackenberg and company going to the old horseshoe on the banks of the Olentangy. The Buckeyes are still trying to hit top gear. Used both quarterbacks, Jones and Barrett, today in a win over Maryland, but it wasn't dominant.
No, the offense, I think, finally found their stride a bit, but the defense gave up some plays that were a bit surprising against a Maryland team that was shut out the week before against Michigan.
What a turnabout for the Hurricanes, who until that replay overturned the touchdown catch initially signaled for Wilson. Looked like they could have been down 21-3. Instead, 90 yards away from a potential game-tying touchdown. True freshman Walton is in the backfield. He goes in the flat. Kaya completes it to him, and Walton gets away. Took a shot, but showed good balance. Gets out across the 10. It was going to be a loss before that move.
Welcome to the Miami-Florida State rivalry game. Young Mark Walton, who has been great in these first 4 weeks, but it's a different speed when you get into this game, and Mark Walton is going to have a great career. I really love the look of this young back along with Yerby. They complement each other very, very well. This offense, you said, I mean, the last time they were on the field, they went 6 plays and 80 yards and came up with a touchdown. This game has a little bit of a different feel than it did about 15 or 20 minutes ago.
No doubt. They fake it to Walton, and a far side throw. He's trying to get free as Coley. Good tackle on the edge that couldn't get away from Derwin James.
The old RPO, the run pass option, we see every single week in college football, and it has everything to do with the quarterback assessing how many defenders are committed to the line of scrimmage to stop the run. The lineman and the running back, they run a running play. The quarterback either puts it into the back's hands or he just gets out of it, lets them run their run play, and flips it out to a better matchup on the outside. That time Florida State did a good job of defending.
What can Kaya dial up here on 3rd and 7? Knowles bringing all kinds of pressure. They pick it up, but it affected the quarterback enough, and he delivers a low throw, bounced on the far side. It's 4th down.
Florida State kind of creeping. You know, nobody had their hand down. Look at the defensive linemen here. Just everybody standing up. Nobody's really showing, tipping their hand who's coming, and they only end up bringing 3. But the offensive line, I think, surprised by the look where everybody's standing. Eventually the pressure comes, and the young freshman, Josh Sweat, does a nice job of getting the pressure on Kaya.
Once again, Vogel is backed up to punt. High kick. It's another pretty good one into this swirling wind, then a fair catch made at the 41-yard line. So 5:23 until halftime. Florida State back to work, up a touchdown.
And welcome back to Tallahassee, everyone. Now it's time for tonight's Aflac trivia question. Gentlemen, who was the last ACC quarterback to defeat the Seminoles in Tallahassee?
No one's beaten here in Tallahassee since the Gators did in 2012. Let's think back. I'm going to go back before that, obviously.
That's a great question.
Cook back in the game, by the way, which very good news. Remember that the hamstring's okay. Golson's on the move on first end, delivers a low throw at midfield. The catch is made by Whitfield. He's a yard short of the first down.
You and I are talking at the break, Chris, of just how Miami almost appeared to be have a different mentality when they were defending this offense without Dalvin Cook. When it was Vickers in there, they had more of an aggressive pin their ears back mentality. We'll see if they're able to maintain that now with Cook back in there with the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and also obviously run the football.
He's got it on 2nd and 1. Leg looks okay. He's off and running again.
That is just a different gear. There are not a lot of backs in the country that every time they touch the ball, how about the vision? That play is designed to go left. He sees the grass to the right, instantly accelerates. The defense is out of position. And how about this poor safety trying to come up? Jenkins trying to make the play in the open field against him.
That was just an average run, right? He just got 17. He's only averaging 17 tonight. That's an average run for Cook against the Canes this evening.
You better bottle him up. And I thought Mark DeNorfield made a good point about gang tackling, running to the football, because if you give up on the backside or you think, oh, he's going that way, I'm a little bit tired, I'm going to catch my breath, he cuts back as well as any back. Every defender on the field has to be aware when Dalvin Cook has a football in his hands, and you got to run to the ball.
They fake it to him, and Golson rolls out, flips it far side, catch made. Whitfield trying to work free down inside the 10. They'll spot him just outside the 10. The Florida State continues to march.
How about the defense reacting to Dalvin Cook? And look at the time Golson has coming off of that. What a great call. You get so concerned about Cook. They fake the Cook. Boot with the athletic ability of Golson. He's so comfortable outside of the pocket. Throws it in rhythm. And the combination of running the ball with Cook and play action off of it is lethal for Florida State.
Golson spreading the ball around. Tight ends, backs, and the receivers have 6 catches tonight. This is Stevenson, the fullback, for a short gain. It'll be 2nd and 8 from the 9 inside of 3.5 in the first half.
I'm a big fullback guy. I like when they feed the fullback every once in a while. It's his 3rd carry of the year. Throw it to him once in a while. All they do is block. a battering ram. They're like an offensive lineman back there. It's nice to keep them happy once in a while. Let them carry the rock.
He comes to the sidelines now. Wilson surveys the defense. Rudolph motions in. They look in the slot. Oh, Cook that time dropped it. He was thinking about the hat trick, his third touchdown, and he would have had a chance if he'd made that easy catch.
Well, and it was a really well-designed play because he caught it behind the line of scrimmage. He had both his receivers blocking downfield, and they took away the linebacker who was defending him in man-to-man coverage. There was nobody there if he caught the ball and turned the corner. Behind the line of scrimmage, it's fine for those receivers to get downfield and make blocks.
So the frustration for Randy Sanders and Fisher. So empty backfield. They need 8 in this third down. Got to get down to the 1-yard line. Golson, no hesitation. Straight back, throws, end zone, incomplete. It was just off the hands there of Erman Lane, and Aiden Tate, the wide receiver, in the mix as well. There were a couple guys close to each other there.
Yeah, and they because of his great size and his height, they want to try to get him the ball down in the red zone, and Lane did get his hands on it there near the end of the play.
Two guys touched it.
Yeah, but Tate is 6'5". Remember Kelvin Benjamin? He's that kind of receiver as a young receiver, but that's what they're hoping he can grow into eventually. That's why the ball was thrown so high. And again, that's another example. Golson, with all these new receivers, still trying to find that rhythm, and he'll get better and better as the year goes on of getting more comfortable with his group.
Second chip shot for Aguayo. So the drop by Cook, and then the pass. It deflected off 2 receivers' hands. The Noles missing chances here.
Offense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
Missing chances, Kirk, to perhaps really drop the hammer and put the Canes away.
Yeah,
they'll back up for 5. This would just still be a 10-point game. 2:45 to go before halftime.
Are you kidding me? If you're Miami, the way this first half has gone, you're giving up 10 yards of play, and you're potentially down 10 with the ball with 2:45 to go with a chance to maybe cut into that lead. You would take that, considering the way your defense has played.
So now it's a 31-yard attempt. Ooh, it was a close one by the standards of Aguayo, who usually splits the uprights, but he does make it 20-10 for the Seminoles. Cassidy?
Chris, tonight's full of crazy. With time running out, Luke Falk to Dom Williams to tie the game and send it to overtime. Oregon scored first in OT. Wazoo now with the ball, down 38-31. Chris, Herbie?
Wow, that would be a huge signature win for the Cougars if they would be really upset in Eugene.
I don't want to say anything, but I had a feeling that one had a chance to be close.
You do badly want to say something.
I just because I just think Oregon is in trouble. I think everybody got excited about Utah's win at Oregon. I think it was a combination of a lot of things going well for Utah and Oregon. They're really grasping right now on both sides of the ball.
Bear, pay this off for us.
We will answer now tonight's Athletic Trivia question. You want to know who the last ACC quarterback to come into Tallahassee and beat the Seminoles?
Woodrow Dantzler.
You got to go back to 2011.
Oh, okay.
Virginia 14, Florida State 13. The quarterback that night for the Cavs, Michael Rocco.
Would have never gotten
shootout there, 14-13.
A million years. It's a tough one there, Bear. It's not cool at all.
Rocco. I didn't expect the name Michael Rocco to come up tonight. So Aguayo to kick off, and we'll see if the Canes can do something with the final 2:42. Mindful that that struggling defense has to go back out there as the Noles get the ball to begin the second half. And they'll start from the 25. ESPN, great way to get you ready for NFL Sundays. At 10 o'clock, it's the Insiders. Injury information, the fantasy stuff you need, breaking stories. At 11 o'clock, it's NFL Countdown with the gang. Previewing Week 5, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Streaming live on the Watch ESPN app as Cook goes back to the bike.
Trying to keep those legs fresh. Are your Broncos still undefeated?
They are. Your Bengals. Your Bengals have trailed for 2 minutes this season. Do you realize that?
I don't want to say anything, but Andy Dalton's playing pretty well this year. They got a big one this weekend with Seattle.
When you've been outrushed 167 to 1, you don't expect to be only 10 points down, frankly. Yearby tries to get something going, but there was early penetration. Then they string it out. Northrup is there along with Jalen Ramsey.
How about Nate Andrews is being asked to play? You see number 29 out there as well. We had Trey Marshall, who was thrown out of the football game for targeting. So Nate Andrews, who thought he'd come in, you can see a cast on that right hand and the thumb. Thought he'd probably be able to maybe get through this game without using him, but they're in fact using him.
Well, the Canes ran a man on very late, and this is not the CFL, and you can't snap the ball with a lineman running out there, so some confusion. The kind of penalties that have plagued Miami so far this season. You're going to be behind the sticks again, behind in the count, as they like to say in parlance. See what Jeff Flanagan is going to do to sort this out.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal substitution. Offense, a man entered the field from the bench during a live ball. Personal foul, chop block, number 67 and number 12. The substitution foul will be declined. The chop block will be accepted. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
And that play was a complete mess. They got the chop block on the left guard, Alex Gall, after a lineman had come running out there. And the play was just about to happen.
And remember when you talked about why are we seeing this offense struggle on third down coming into tonight, one of the worst in the country. As we said, only converting 24%, 127th in the country. To me, it's because of things like this. We saw this a lot in the Cincinnati game a couple Thursdays ago, and now they're backed up deep in their own territory, and they're facing second and really long.
Yeah, as in second and 22, and you wonder if this completely changes the philosophy, or instead of trying to get points, go Florida State get the ball back before halftime. Kaya delivers near side. Waters makes the catch. Escapes momentarily, gets to the 25, but it's going to be third and long.
You know, that's really the only spot he could go with the ball. And again, Kaya does a good job of working through his progressions and then finding his open man. And the thing is, it requires a lot of time to be able to do that. But with that play here on second down, picking up 12 yards, it gives him at least a shot here on third down and 10.
But because it's third and long, there's not much urgency. They're afraid to, give the Noles the ball back with some time. Empty backfield, again, movement at the line, and a flag. Another false start on that offensive line that is really struggling.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
A tough series for old Alex Gall. Coming up, John Saunders, Mark May, Florida State grad Mac Brown. We'll have the BMW halftime report, scores and highlights. You got to tune in. You got to be. There's so much going on tonight around the country. So many potential surprises brewing. And John, Mayday, and Mac will update you. So now the clock's running at 45 seconds on 3rd and 15 after another penalty. Empty backfield. Noles dancing around, but they only rushed 3. Kaya steps up and delivers incomplete. Had a lot of time. That was just a poor throw. So it's 4th down with 36 seconds left.
When you're a rhythmic quarterback, it's all about being able to get back, get your feet under you, and distribute the football. Here, by rushing 3 and dropping 8, he, again, shows the patience. He sits back and he waits for his man Herndon to open up, but he just doesn't look comfortable when it comes to his mechanics. And you can see he kind of aims the football. He did not naturally get back, be in rhythm, and throw the football. And he's one of these guys, as a young quarterback, he still is developing and finding that rhythm.
Here's the punt from Vogel. It's another high one. Wilson comes up, hesitates, takes a fair catch, bombles it, but collects it. So the Noles, with 28 seconds to go, are at their 43. Did they perhaps give Golson a chance to push it down and get it in field goal range for Roberto Aguayo? Speaking of that, the All-State Nets are in their 11th year, contributing to the participating scholarship funds for each field goal and PAT made. All-State has contributed millions in scholarship funds. So Mike Black is our spotter, former Boise State and Arena Bowl kicker, and he always tells us where they have to get the ball to give the kicker a chance here. Aguayo's career long is 53, but we know he's got leg to make it.
Blackie was saying he was making him from 60 in warm-ups going in this direction. So you figure you got to get to about the 43-yard line of Miami.
Golson steps up, delivers, catch made, and they're in field goal range. Long field goal range. They'll move the sticks here. Knowles have the one timeout left.
And he'll try to save that timeout as long as he can.
Clock moving again. And Golson will run a play. Three-man rush. Hoops the ball downfield. Whitfield had a chance, couldn't collect it at the 15-yard line. 13 seconds to go. Corn Elder in coverage.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if Corn Elder got his hand on that football or not, or if it went through the arms. I think he did. I think Elder affected that. I think you're seeing that's actually a really good recovery speed by Corn Elder. But Golson and Whitfield, of all his receivers, that's the guy he seems to be the most in sync with tonight.
So still with the timeout. And now Miami on defense will spend a timeout here.
Defense, first charge, timeout. That timeout will be 30 seconds.
Boy, a lot happened in this game, and it began right away. Dalvin Cook with so much concern about that hamstring. Bolton 74 yards for a touchdown, and the Canes found themselves in deep trouble on the road here. This had the look of a beatdown.
Well, Miami right now is, I think, fortunate to be down by 10 points. You touched on the 12 yards rushing. I think Miami was hoping to have more of a balanced attack when they came into this football game. Their defense has been struggling to deal with Dalvin Cook, and this is the best Everett Golson has looked by far in his brief career here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, Golson 13 for 1,882 yards. Cook's averaging about 15 yards a carry here.
It's pretty good.
And now they need perhaps one more short gain and a timeout to get Aguayo in more comfortable field goal range here. And it is a short completion. Whitfield again makes the catch, takes a hit, and they'll spend that final timeout with 6 seconds to go.
He accelerates upfield in a hurry. Nice, safe, easy call, and you're already really in field goal range for Aguayo. And that time, Jimbo Fisher just telling Everett Golson, let's go with a simple throw, pick up as many yards as we can, use that last time out, and give Robert a chance to put us up by 13.
Caps off a terrific first half for Everett Golson. Aguayo with his 2 tonight, 54 of 59 in his career. This will be one of the longer ones. It'll be just a few yards short of his career long of 53. The flags are at his back at the top of the stadium. It's kind of a swirling wind. We heard from him earlier in Spanish. Won the Luke Groza Award in 2013. Many thought he was a shoe-in last year, didn't get it. Certainly has to be one of the leading candidates again this year. Mike Black pointing out that, most kickers, when you try a long one, you try to drive the ball kind of low, but one of the features of Aguayo is he just really gets excellent lift off the ball early, so it makes it very tough to get a hand up and threaten the block.
He's one of those guys when you're on the field before the game and you're waiting for the specialists to come out, the quarterbacks, receivers. You actually really enjoy. Blackie likes all the kickers, but for me, Robert Aguayo is a guy that I like to. I'll actually stand and just watch him kick, because you're right, it goes up in the air and a long way, usually right down the middle.
Jason Beatty, the punter, is his holder, and Beatty told me before the game he's clearly the best dressed guy on Florida State's team. He wanted to talk fashion with me, so he's got that going for him. Aguayo from 49 to make it a 13-point halftime lead. Drives it, plenty of distance, off the upright, so only The 6th career miss of Aguirre's career. He almost looks at that with disbelief. That's not supposed to happen.
So the Florida State offense that dominated the game, they end up having a touchdown called back where they ended up having an incomplete, had to settle for a field goal. They miss a field goal here, and that's why Miami's in this football game only down 20-10. That's shocking.
Look how high that was up on the upright from 49. Al Golden said we were on the ropes big time early, but we're hanging around. Problem is, his defense hasn't stopped the Noles yet. They roll up 3:58 in offense. BMW halftime report. Heather Cox will speak with Fisher after these messages. Welcome back. Let's begin the second half of Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo, and this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Totally dominant first half statistically by the Seminoles. The running of Dalvin Cook, the throwing of Everett Golson, but only a 10-point lead. Noles will get the ball to begin the second half. Kirk, I mean, if you're Miami, you knew it was going to be a long night. If you couldn't get third and manageable, they just haven't, and Kaya has not been able to move the chains consistently enough. And you got massive problems on defense, which is the immediate concern with the Noles getting the ball here. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, their defense has got to be a little bit more aggressive. They got to take some more chances now that they're down 10 getting into the second half. But I think you look at this, and the fact that Florida State has not been able to convert in the red zone. 3 different times they've been into the red zone. They haven't scored a touchdown in the red zone. That's why it's only a 10-point game. Jimbo Fisher mentioning that to Heather at halftime. Here's our Pacific Life game summary from the start. The Noles were clicking offensively. Yeah, this has been great, and Jimbo Fisher told us they're going to open some things up. And Dalvin Cook has been the story of the game. Big plays. Despite that left hamstring, he had appeared a cramp where he stepped out of the game for a bit, meaning Everett Golson and company had to kind of take up where he left off. And Golson, he has been sharp. 14-19. Not turning the football over, making good decisions, running, throwing, getting out of the pocket, throwing from in the pocket. Just a very versatile attack for Jimbo in that first half. Cook is back out there, rushing for 137 in the first half, despite pulling up that left hamstring. Looks like he's okay. He's got it on the far side there. It's a short gain. You heard Jimbo say they got to be smart how they use Cook. Don't overuse him here, but you're already seeing problems with that leg. Absolutely, and I think other than when he came up a little bit lame on that run that he had, other than that, he hasn't even shown any signs at all where he's limping or that the hamstring is bothering him whatsoever. Golson straight back. Cook again. And he's got a first down. So tough to defend the speedy tailback out of the backfield. Well, I think that's what makes him so tough, is he's not just a runner. He has soft hands. He probably has as good a hands as anybody on the offense. And Miami, the reason they struggle to defend this offense is Florida State's attacking in a lot of different ways. They're running into the middle. They're play action. They're throwing the ball to the outside of the receivers. The backs are coming out of the backfield, most notably Dalvin Cook. It's right now Florida State's one step ahead of Miami's defense. Golson looking to throw in first down, just checks it down again at a high percentage completion to Whitfield, who's been busy tonight. To Heather.
Chris, Al Golden was encouraged despite their struggles, telling his team in the locker room, hey, it's only a 10-point game. We knew this was going to be a 4-quarter battle. That he said defensively, we have to get to Dalvin Cook. We've got to tackle him in the open field, and then also find ways to make Everett Golson uncomfortable, force him into some turnovers. Offensively, they want to make some vertical throws to help open up that struggling running game.
Flip side from last year when the Canes jumped to a 16-0 lead at home, and the Noles eventually came back to win. Golson on the keeper, Cuts it and dives for a short gain. It'll be 3rd and 3. Raphael Kirby forced in to duck down.
It's one thing, let's see, Deion Bush getting up a little bit slow there. It's one thing to talk about what the plan is. It's another thing to go out and execute it. And for the most part, whenever Golson has thrown the football, he has not felt a lot of pressure. And in fact, he's had a lot of time back in that pocket. And if Miami's going to get back into this football game, they do have to make him feel unsettled. They do have to bring pressure.
And 3rd and 3. Hit in the backfield is Cook. Drop for a loss as the Canes are beginning to really focus in on number 4. Chad Thomas came off the edge there.
Yes, and we've seen on these short yardage situations, we've seen Miami's defensive line. If there's ever been a time where they've been able to step up and make plays, it's been on these short yardage situations. And watch Chad Thomas here, another young defensive lineman, a sophomore. They do a really good job at timing up when to shoot the gaps. We saw Kendrick Norton earlier, the freshman. That time it was Thomas, the sophomore.
Nufumba Kamalo finished him off. So first punt of the evening for Kason Beatty. And Corn Elder, he's back deep, but Beatty, who's been holding and not needed to punt, just booms that one right into the end zone.
He's like, I want to participate. I want to play.
He's fresh, 59 yards on that punt. So for Kaya Kirk, and we knew the problem was going to be 3rd down. He was just a 37% passer this year because of the variety of problems you pointed out. But tonight, 2 of 6. He's been sacked on 3rd down. They've only converted 2 of those completions into first downs.
And you're down 10, and you go back to the drawing board at halftime, and you know what? You kind of stick to your plan. And you feel comfortable with 5 days of studying and 5 days of prep work. And if you're James Coley, you look for those holes in that defense across the middle of it.
Have not had much success running with Yearby, who continues to churn and fight and makes a nice first down gain. He's been watching his high school buddy, close friend Dalvin Cook have all the fun tonight. He hasn't really been able to join the party.
Well, no, it's because it's such tough sledding. The battle in the trenches is being won by the Florida State defensive line, so the yards are tough to run the football right now for them.
They play with some tempo here. 2 quick runs, and they do get a first down across the 30. Northrup and Hoskins stopped him. And now flag comes in very late over on the far side. It's Jalen Ramsey, who is in along the Miami sidelines clapping his hands.
Well, it's because Stacy Coley, number 3, took a swing at him and right in front of the official. Rivalry game, you can't lose your cool.
The play made a first down. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 3 on the offense. That penalty would be 15 yards from the succeeding spot.
He knows.
Be first down and 10. That is number 3's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
It's been a feature of this rivalry over the years. Players know each other, and the emotions create some penalties like that. That's very costly.
And look at the top here, Jalen Ramsey right here. He's gonna say a few things, and when he does, you cannot do that. But look at the officials are right there, right in front of them. They just picked up a first down. They're trying to get back into this game. Now they got to go back 15 yards after the first down.
They're both pushing and shoving, but they got Coley in the response there. So it's 1st and 10. They're back way up, and here come flags again.
Noddy that time looked like he jumped. And I don't know if Linder's barking out a cadence, but we've seen Florida State jump a few times.
Defense number 99, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the Canes, I should say, have changed their method of communications. Not the guard tapping the center when they're ready for the snap. If they felt like the Noles might have figured out the rhythm of that.
Well, Cincinnati figured out the rhythm of it. They were teeing off on the Miami offensive line a couple Thursday nights ago. They had to do something to slow it down. Now you see him taking a peek back at Kaya.
Yeah, it's just the head bob to indicate the snap. Kaya delivers high, catch made across the 40. So Rashawn Scott converts the first down, goes up high, uses that 6'2" frame.
And you have 2 receivers running into the same area, which means somebody made a mistake. He was throwing the ball to Scott, but he had another receiver working his way over. How about Kaya getting hit yet again? And Herb Waters almost came over and brought the defender with him. It was great concentration by Scott to hold on to the ball.
His 4th catch for 91 yards. Got the touchdown earlier on the long play. Yearby bounce backwards and then hit for a loss. Or Derek Hoskins, the linebacker. Frustrating night for number 2.
These linebackers are just coming downhill. Northrup, Hoskins, both. As soon as they read run, the defensive line's doing a good job of kind of holding their point. Nobody's getting up to the second level. And you're talking about Reggie Northrup and Derek Hoskins. Both these guys are probably two of the faster, more aggressive linebackers in the ACC.
Canes are gaining less than 1 yard per rush. 12 yards rushing in their 13 carries. Pressure picked up and across the middle. The catch is made there. Coley goes low, so it sets up a more makeable third down try. Kurt, they're going to need about 5.
And we over and over and over, the corners from Florida State are playing man-to-man with Marquise White 27 to the field and Jalen Ramsey into the boundary. The most successful opportunities for Kaya, and he knows it, are the slot receivers and the tight ends trying to get matchups against safeties and linebackers in these man-to-man situations.
Yerby motions out, empty backfield on 3rd and 4. Kaya gets it away. Completion far side. That's Chris Herndon, the first catch for the sophomore tight end.
So there it is. There's a matchup that he wants to try to take. Florida State brought a blitz. The safety was way back off of the blitz, and it's good recognition by Kaya. He saw LaMarcus Brutus in coverage, but as I said, he was about 8 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage from Herndon. Made it very, very easy once he recognized it just to put the ball out there with such a soft cushion.
Kaya in the pocket, delivers incomplete. They haven't given up a big number of sacks, but that's a little bit misleading. Kaya has been pressured a whole lot, hit a whole lot this season.
Yeah, and it was a true freshman, Josh Sweat, again getting in there. And it's not just about the sacks. Watch him at the bottom of the screen with his speed, just getting around, a rip move, and then he hits him as he's throwing the ball, and that affected the throw. Ball's thrown into ground, and it's a heck of an effort there. Josh Sweat will be a superstar down the road. Number 9, a true freshman out of Virginia.
Probably didn't feel very good besides affecting the throw, did it? There's a throw and a catch made by Coley, and they move it to the Knowles 30. Another first down.
There it is. Slot receiver, quick throws. That's the matchups. That's where they're going to get their opportunities. Tyler Hunter that time with his eyes in the backfield. And that, I saw Stacy Coley just sneak in right behind him. There's a really big void on those about 7 to 10 yard throws from the outside coming into the middle for Miami.
Kaya, traffic in the pocket again. He was pressured and knocked down after the throw. Giorgio Newberry, that time affected him.
They are getting after him. I mean, he is showing great patience, but Hoskins this time, the linebacker looking to the right. Poor left tackle Trevor Darling is getting tested in every way imaginable. Boy, and I think we've seen Newberry tonight. Looks like a different guy from last year to this year with his relentless attitude. They said he's one of the great surprises this year on the defense.
So it's a second down run for Yerby. Uses a stiff arm, tries to get away from Jalen Ramsey, who shoves him out about the 26. It'll be another third down coming up. He'll need 6. Kaya, as talented as he is, doesn't seem to be a great thrower on the run. So the idea of sort of moving the pocket and getting him outside of those tackles, not something that Coley does often.
No, he is not a guy. He's a true pocket quarterback. As we said, he's a rhythmic guy that feels much more comfortable. That's why he's sitting in that pocket and waiting and waiting and waiting to find that open man. But you are limited as a play caller without having the flexibility to get him outside of the pocket.
Play clock at 4. Knowles showing late pressure. Stands in the pocket, delivers a catch far side made by Scott, who's working open well. And they move the chains again.
And that's the back shoulder throw right here, right at Jalen Ramsey. This will be a great look at it. Perfectly timed. And again, they're going after Jalen Ramsey. There's the rhythm of Kaya going to his top target, Scott. And because Jalen Ramsey's thinking he's going to the fade, he's going downfield, they kind of anticipated that. He got on top of him, and he threw it to the back shoulder. That's well executed there by Kaya and Scott.
Kaya again looks far side. Oh, spying the play was Ramsey. Almost came up with a pick. The number 2 rated defensive back, according to Todd McShay, among all the draft-eligible guys, playing his dream position of corner this year.
Watch him this time come off the receiver. See, that's what fooled Brad Kaya. He's been playing man, and man, so he's thinking that he's going to play man-to-man against the receiver that's going into the end zone, and he let him go. He was in zone. A nice little wrinkle there by Charles Kelly against their tendencies.
It was Ramsey who single-handedly destroyed Miami's offense in the second half of the comeback last year, making the pick of Kaya to seal it at the end. In the pocket again, and little miscommunication. Scott cut inside, the throw went outside. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Boy, this is a nice little stop and go move right here. Watch this move. He gives him here and there, and it's a play that when Brad Kaya goes back and looks at the film, he'll want to have that one back. That's a touchdown. If he was able to see that, the safety bit up on the out and up by the tight end, that could have been a touchdown pass.
Here comes the noise on 3rd and 10. Kaya, lots of time, delivers a strike inside the 5. Catch made by Lawrence Cager, the true freshman. His 4th catch of the season, and the Canes are knocking on the door.
Boy, they're mixing up their looks here. This time they only rush 3. And they somehow find a hole there in that 8-man drop.
Knowles got to hurry the subs on. They brought in a short yardage package. The guys barely got lined up before Yearby muscles forward for a 1.5 yards. They get to the 2.
Here they are back in the red zone, where tonight they're 0 for 1 in coming into the year, 111th in the country when it comes to touchdowns down in this area. They cannot afford to settle for a field goal. If they want to get back and try to win this game, they got to get a touchdown. This has been too impressive of a drive to settle for a field goal.
It's the tight end, Yearby, motioning out of the fullback position. Yearby cuts inside and knocked down at the 1-yard line by Reggie Northrup. 3rd down coming up again.
Boy, that is textbook by Reggie Northrup, the way he navigates his way through those linemen, all the traffic. Has such a nose for the football. Also, Lorenzo Phillips, the junior college transfer. Very athletic, closing the door.
Kaya has completed passes to convert 3 third downs on the drive. They run it in here. They've been a very poor offense in these situations throughout the year. 3rd and short. Knowles are crowding the line. Kaya looking to throw in the flat, flips it, catch made, touchdown. Yearby just crossed the goal line before he got hit. Let's take another look. But if it stands, the Canes back within 3.
I think he broke the plane here. Derwin James hits him, but he's across. It's a touchdown. It took every ounce of effort to go 17 plays, 80 yards, and a touchdown. They had 4 third-down conversions by Kaya to keep that drive alive, and he finds his man for the touchdown. Great concentration by the running back Yearby to hold on to that ball after the big hit.
Badgley knocks it through. The Canes look to be down and out early. Suddenly, midway 3rd, they are back within 3. Appreciate Curtis, the All-State Saturday Night Football bus, joining us here in Tallahassee. Not a very long journey from Clemson last week. The All-State It's Good sweepstakes for a chance to win $100,000, plus a VIP trip to the All-State Sugar Bowl and the National Championship game, as well as weekly prizes. So the Canes have had 2 80-yard drives and a 62-yard field goal drive, and suddenly it's a 3-point game. And there's another kick that goes out of bounds. John Semmering has kicked one out of bounds now in 4 consecutive games. So that's not real good.
Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line.
And the Knowles will take over at the 35, protecting what is suddenly now a 3-point lead.
Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo. Brought to you by Cadillac. Wells Fargo. On your phone, online, on the go. Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done. And Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
We appreciate Goodyear's aerial coverage, whether you drive 100 yards or 100 miles. Choose Goodyear tires for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. The official aerial provider of Saturday Night Football. Now, Jimbo Fisher-Kirk last week was bemoaning the lack of a killer instinct of his team when they were playing Wake Forest. They seemed to have the game in hand, but Devin Deacons had a couple long drives, kicked field goals, and they had to make a pick in the end zone to hold on to the win at the end. Now the lead's just 3. And Golson backpedaling throws incomplete. Just bounced it in front of Cook as Anthony Moten came flying in. Brad wanted a flag for roughing up Cook after the play ended.
I think Everett Golson went down trying to draw the flag, and the big fella Moten at 300 pounds, when the quarterback goes down, he's going to go down with him. So he's not trying to do anything to him. He picked him up, and then Golson.
It's kind of a dance move.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just going to go down, see if I can get a flag. Fisher actually
thought about it.
He did.
He was reaching, but didn't throw it. 2nd and 10. Canes showing pressure off the end, but they throw to the far side to Whitfield away from the pressure. The Canes converge quickly, though, only a 4-yard gain, and 3rd down is coming up.
How about the technique here by Corn Elder? Getting off of the block here, up at the top. You can see him right there work off the block, and that's a big play. I mean, if Elder doesn't do that, you're probably looking at 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. But right there, he sheds the block, the attempt by Lane, who's much bigger, but he used his quickness, and now you're looking at a 3rd and 6 instead of 3rd and 2.
Elder, who had a big interception the first series of overtime against Nebraska. Miami held on for dear life. And the Canes get the ball back for their offense. Golson in the pocket, scrambling, delivers, incomplete at midfield. Good coverage there again on Bobo Wilson by Artie Burns. And the Canes defense has come alive after a rough start.
And they decided to bring the pressure here on 3rd down and play man-to-man. Hope that the pressure would get to him before the receivers could beat him. And by stepping up in the pocket, he buys enough time. And actually, Bobo Wilson could have held on to that football for the 1st down. But instead, it gets through his hands, and the Canes defense again comes up with a chance to get their offense back on the field.
And incredibly, a chance to take the lead in this game. We were in big trouble in the opening minutes here in Tallahassee. It's Elder going for a fair catch. Dropped it, and then is dropped back at the 6-yard line. So poor field position and a shaky decision by Elder. Kaya backed up, but the Canes within striking distance. It's been a serious weakness all season for the Canes. 3rd down, Kirk in that 17-play drive. Kaya converted 4 of them, all with passes.
Yeah, he had time to throw, and he made some key throws where his receivers worked to find some open spots. The great shots of it right there, and then here, the big one to get the ball into the end zone, and you see Yearby take that big shot. So they put together a 17-play drive. They're backed up deep again. Let's see what Brad Kaya has for us now.
It's Walton in the game. They fake it to him. Kaya from his end zone delivers a strike and has a man wide open. And Stacy Coley found a real pocket, and the Canes suddenly, instead of being backed up, they're out across the 30.
And how about Brad Kaya waits until the last possible second? He feels the pressure off to his right from DeMarcus Walker, but he locks in. That's called vision and poise in the pocket. He locks in on waiting for his receiver to cut free and break away from the man-to-man coverage, and he turned the defensive back around.
Kaya under center now. He is poised, he's smart, but maybe people don't talk enough about how tough he is. He's taken some big shots tonight. This is Walton, true freshman, not much room to run, and he's knocked down after a short game. To Cassidy for an update on a busy Saturday night.
Yeah, and some of those surprises. TCU back in it, but K-State not letting off the gas. Joe Huebner with his 4th touchdown of the day. TCU has scored since. K-State up 42-37. Michigan State not a comfortable lead, just up 3. Back to you.
Keeping an eye on the unbeaten teams trying to stay that way tonight. Already 2 have gone down this afternoon. Oklahoma and Northwestern. Kaya delivers high, incomplete, and a flag comes in. Was there holding?
Chris, I think it's offensive pass interference. Njoku pushed off at the top of his route as far as what I saw.
Interference. Offense, number 86. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
He's a 6'4" athlete who's a 7'1" high jumper, has great speed. Freshman out of New Jersey. They'd hoped to really involve him tonight, but hasn't really been able to get a lot of space against the Noles defense.
He tried to create some space. Had a safety coming down on top of him off to the right. See right there at the top, he just pushes away from the defender to try to get that separation. It was the freshman Derwin James staying with him. How about Kaya? He's been taking these hits all night. Just as he throws it, he just cringes, knowing he's about to get hit again.
Walton motions out. Kaya looks that way, now fires back near side, and there is Njoku, who just had the penalty, making the catch, getting back near the original line of scrimmage, where it's going to be 3rd and long. They really think that this guy is a talent, and they recruit well the tight end position at Miami. A great tradition there.
Of course, and think back to Jimmy Graham and Bubba Frank, some of the ones they've had.
Jockey.
Greg Olson, they've had a lot of them. And one thing that James Coley is smart to do is pick their minds when they come back from the NFL and talk about, how do I utilize these tight ends? So tell me some of the stuff that you're doing that works for you in the NFL, and try to incorporate some of that into our attack with these 3 studs that we have.
Noles bring pressure up the middle. Canes pick it up, and Kai delivers far side. Diving attempt there, no flag. Or is there a flag on the other side of the field?
Backfield there. Looks like
James was defending on Chris Herndon, another young tight end.
Offense number 73. Then will be declined. 4th down.
They brought massive pressure up the middle.
Trevor Darling is again, he's had a long night with Josh Sweat on 3rd down. This time he just decides just to wrap him up. I'm just going to go ahead and I can't deal with this young guy anymore. Just going to wrap him up. Official right on top of it.
We're going to see Josh Sweat make lots of sacks and big plays in his Florida State career. He's coming out of Virginia, 6'5", and a 235. The Miami drive stalls. They do get the ball away from their own goal line to at least help flip field position, and the punt from Vogel rolls out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Another reminder that the Steelers and the Chargers will collide on Monday Night Football on ESPN 8:15, but coverage begins at 6 o'clock with Monday Night Countdown, streaming live on the Watch ESPN app. Michael Vick, a little more time to work with the Steeler offense. Roethlisberger, of course, still out. And now we'll see if Golson and this Noles offense, which has gained a total of 20 yards in their 2 second-half possessions, can get the rhythm back.
Yeah, we've actually got introduced to their punter here in the second half a couple times.
Big crease, and Cook scampers forward for 7 more on 1st down.
You know, this is where Jimbo Fisher really challenges his offense. After those first 2 series to start the second half, especially the guys up front, to try to take control of that line of scrimmage. If you can get Dalvin Cook established, when things slow down, that's usually where he'll go, is Dalvin Cook, and then that tends to open up other aspects of their offense.
Cook again on 2nd and 3 has a 1st down. Rod Johnson, the talented sophomore left tackle, the only holdover from that offensive line, and they're missing Kareem Arr, their left guard, out with a knee tonight, so Chad Mavetti has to shift over to that position. But how do you think these guys are faring for a rebuilt offensive line?
You're talking about losing 174 career starts. Those 4 guys that they lost, they weren't just first-year starters. A lot of them 3 years, 4-year starters.
They're all in the league, by the way.
Yeah, I know. So you're dealing with trying to reestablish continuity as a group, and now you have R out, so it's tough.
This is Golson rolling back and throwing. to a wide open man who makes a catch, and that's Maven Saunders, the tight end for the second time tonight, crossing midfield into Miami territory.
Love the flow, moving the pocket with an athletic quarterback in Golson. Watch the defense flow to our left, to the right of Golson, and then he just sneaks the tight end Saunders out, gets lost in coverage, and is able to easily pick up the first down. Good call there again by Florida State.
That's 17 yards. Final minute of the third quarter. Back to Cook, who's hit in the backfield. Quick penetration there by Juan Muhammad, the sophomore linebacker. He'll lose 3 yards.
And what I see is them being willing to take some chances with slanting and angling their defensive line. Chad Thomas has made some plays. Norton has made some plays. Moten. And now it's Muhammad's turn to shoot a gap and see him right there. He just shoots right in front of Saunders after the big reception. But because he was angling in front to the left of Saunders, he didn't have any chance to be able to slow him down.
Olsen on 2nd and 13, stands in the pocket and delivers a strike complete. First down yardage at the 35 to Travis Rudolph. And that's how the third quarter will end, with the Noles marching, trying to add to a 3-point lead. It's been a pretty good quarter for Miami. They had that 17-play touchdown drive, and they are hanging around. But the Noles threatening to add to their lead. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Welcome back to this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Defending conference champions Seminoles protecting a 26-game conference winning streak, leading by 3 as we start the final quarter. And on the move at the Miami 34. Third quarter really belonged to Miami. Now Cook cuts it back. Squirts into the secondary. Boy, every time he touches the ball, you just feel like he's going to end up in the end zone. He got 11 there.
Well, he's not only explosive, it's the vision that goes along with it. Again, play design to the right, stretch play, instantly bounce that back. And it's the stop and go, the acceleration off of those cuts. And then once he makes his cut, Chris, he instantly hits that turbo button, and he's accelerating at a high speed once again.
Carried it 14 times for $154. And a touchdown, caught a touchdown pass as well. He's got it again. He's got a chance to have one of the most productive nights against the Hurricanes that any FSU back has ever had. He's closing in on the series record for Florida State.
And if you're Miami, you're starting to get close to that red zone, and you know that Dalvin Cook is always an option. I think they've done a great job in this second half of taking chances, leaving their corners out there on islands, and pinning their ears back. And again, they're slanting and angling and attacking downhill. You can't let Cook let him get going in the running game.
Olsen on 2nd and long, looks left immediately. Throws to the end zone. Rudolph tried to come back to the football, wanted a flag. Tracy Howard defended him, and there is a flag in the end zone. It'll be pass interference against Miami.
Pass interference. Defense number 3. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Watch Tracy Howard. A little bit of hand checking. See his head not turned and looking for the football. And that, I say it every week, that's the indicator for an official. If there's even a little bit of contact and the defensive back's head is not looking back, going for the ball and making an effort to locate the football, even though the contact isn't that severe, they're going to make that call every single time.
See if the Noles can punch it in this trip in the red zone. Get the lead back up to 10. First and goal. Cook has a crease and barges down inside the 5. Boy, he is so quick.
Left hamstring is holding up. He's been a workhorse tonight running the football. It's 16 carries on the night, 3 receptions. We thought, tell Heather about 25, maybe 25 touches tonight.
I like that look. You could really see how quick out of the starting blocks number 4 is. 2nd and goal. Golson has to spin. Cannot get away. Big emphasis for the Canes defense to not let him get out of the pocket. They haven't done a great job tonight, but Muhammad did his job there.
Muhammad, who was a 5-star recruit a couple years ago, comes off the edge, but they also bring Jermaine Grace right up the middle. Grace flushed Golson out. Watch him flash right there in the middle. There's not enough offensive linemen and backs to pick him up, and he runs right into Quan Muhammad there to clean it up.
First sack for the Canes tonight. They've come close to getting Golson a couple times. He's gotten away, and now 3rd and goal. Way back at the 14. Play clock winding down. It's at 1 when Golson snaps it. Looks left, delivers. Catch made, and a hard shot delivered after the catch. Artie Burns hammering Bobo Wilson. No flag, and it's 4th down. And once again, the Noles have to settle in the red zone.
And watch here on 3rd down. Look how quick Miami that time. They have first half they struggled to get after Everett Golson. The second half a totally different story. The sophomore Chad Thomas is the one who just shot right by the offensive lineman on the right side. It looked like it was Derek Kelly or Wilson Bell.
Whistle now before the field goal attempt by Aguayo, who is 2 for 3 tonight.
Running on the field was a completed pass. That play is under further review.
So Ted Jackson, the replay official, buzzing down, wants to make sure that Wilson made the catch before he was hammered out of bounds. Did he control it? Juggling a bit. I don't know if he completed the catch there.
Definitely juggling it initially. Did he get a hold of it while his right foot was down? Right on his leg?
It seems so conservative what it takes these days in college and the NFL to give a receiver a catch, and that just didn't really seem to meet the standard. Of course, it'll still be 4th down. The only difference here, if it gets overturned, Dave, how do you see it?
I see him juggling it, Chris, just as you've said.
It'll just be a little bit longer field goal attempts by Aguayo.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
Okay. Well, on second thought, I guess it's not real consequential because Aguayo is not going to affect his range in the field goal.
No, that was one of those, to me, Dave, that literally could have gone either way. And I guess more often than not, they stick with the call downstairs, right?
Yeah, I can agree with you, but still there's a pretty, to me, an obvious juggle when he's going out of bounds.
So it's a 25-yard attempt. Noles in their 4th trip in the red zone. Lost 1 on downs, and will have to settle for a 3rd Aguayo field goal. Ooh, he's not vintage Aguayo tonight. Snuck that one in. Noles add to the lead, but it's only 6. Cassidy, thank you. Yeah, K-State in the position to tie the game with a field goal. Barry Patterson just iced him. We'll keep you posted. So Aguayo been a little too busy tonight. His 3rd field goal puts him up 6, and the kickoff taken by Elder. He was hit immediately. Excellent coverage by the Seminoles. We continue to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. So let's listen to that last Miami call. Kenneth Gray, Sebastian Christensen of ESPN Deportes.
Tiempo, espacio, pase completo. Touchdown Miami. Touchdown Miami. Touchdown Joseph Yerby que salía del backfield. Touchdown Miami.
We thank those fellas, Los Hurricanes. Miami, by the way, has Spanish language radio broadcast every game, home and away.
Really rolling that R there.
First down for Kaya at the 17. Still down just 6. Oh, dangerous pass deflected and caught. Rashawn Scott on the carom, reminiscent of a play that the Noles used to beat the Canes a year ago in the deflection.
Look at Jalen Ramsey. How about the athletic ability? He's on a corner blitz, and he almost ends up going up intercepting that football. But the focus there by Scott was exceptional. But that was an amazing ability there by Ramsey.
And now a completion on the far side, and Herb Waters, the speedster, breaks free across the 45-yard line. And Miami moving quickly near midfield.
There's the run-pass option. Tempo. They get Florida State outflanked. Not enough defenders out on the perimeter. Kaya recognizes it. He's got 2 receivers to block, 1 to catch the ball, and they end up picking up big yards.
Now they got 23. This is Noles' defense has spent a little bit of time on the field here after halftime. Miami had that earlier 17-play drive, so they're trying to exploit that. And a short pass delivered, tackle broken, and muscling down inside the 35-yard line is the young tight end Njoku we talked about.
You saw Marquise White come up, who's undersized. He's a big corner, but still much smaller than the tight end, who's 6'4", 245 pounds. And this tempo right now has Florida State on its heels.
Canes are getting yardage in chunks. They got 20 in that completion. Now Kaya. There's air mails into the end zone as Coley broke off the route.
Florida State able to catch their breath here after this incompletion. I mean, it was boom, 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 and Miami went from back in their own territory to plus territory all the way down to the 33-yard line of Florida State.
Canes trying to engineer this comeback on the road, minus any sort of a running game. Completely one-dimensional so far. Yerby motions back into the backfield on 2nd and 10. And they try to get something going. He's wrestled out, short gain. Ramsey defended him. He did set up 3rd and about 5.
Coley and Scott have been his primary targets tonight, but he has tried to get the ball into the inside to the tight ends. Herndon 23, Njoku as well. And we've seen involved here much more in the second half, 86.
They were 4 for 4 on 3rd down in the previous scoring drive.
He's feeling that pressure to his right from 29, Nate Andrews right here, just the protection.
And they pick up the blitz. And Kaya loops it for the end zone. Diving attempt, Coley, touchdown! Coley appears to be shaken up, but he's got a smile on his face, or is it a grimace? We'll take another look at the catch.
Chris, he's been fighting a hamstring the entire year. What an effort. Watch how he extends to go up and make sure he holds on to the football. All that weight came down on the left shoulder. That's a catch and a touchdown for the Canes. I think his adrenaline, he was okay here, and then he all of a sudden felt that.
Coley's first touchdown catch of the season. You mentioned health problems have kept him off the field. That's been a real missing ingredient in this Miami offense. So now Flanagan finally announcing that they're going to take a look at it, but that looked to be a touchdown, and Miami shockingly is a PAT away from taking the lead.
Chris, he recognized the pressure here. That's what made him step up. And then he's got the matchup out here to the outside that he wants to try to get after. But the offensive line does a good job of doing what they need to do. The back, Yerby stays in, and then he puts the ball out away from the defender, and that's the matchup you want. We talked in the first quarter. They exploited that. Best receiver, fastest receiver against the safety in Tyler Hunter, who cannot stay with Stacy Coley.
Here's the landing. He put the ball quickly in his right hand, braced his fall with the left hand. It is a touchdown, and they're still looking at Coley. Finally, he's gotten up to his feet there. That left elbow and then the shoulder hitting hard, as you said. So the touchdown does stand with 10:02 to play.
Chris, right here, you'll see that matchup. Right here, they motioned him over to create this matchup, and then he just ends up pulling away from him. He was lined up at the beginning of the play to the right. Nice call by James Coley to motion him over to the left, and that's how they created the matchup between Coley and Hunter, and that's exactly what they wanted. Perfectly designed play by James Coley.
Maybe Coley's last action of the night, judging by that, but it was a monstrous play. Another third down completion by Kaya, who's been brilliant after halftime. 5 of 6 converting after the break. It's an 83-yard 6-play drive. They did that one quickly. And Michael Badgley knocks it right through. Miami has the lead in Tallahassee after Coley's heroics.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo. Brought to you by Pacific Life. For life insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life. The power to help you succeed. Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper and college football. It's a one-of-a-kind tradition. And DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Final tip of the cap to Goodyear for our aerial coverage. Whether you drive 100 yards or 100 miles, choose Goodyear tires for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven, official aerial provider for Saturday Night Football. Miami has the lead for the first time. Coley icing that left hip up off the training table as Whitfield tries to make a play from his end zone. Canes stop him at the 15, and now Golson goes to work, trailing for the first time with 9:57 to play.
And Everett Golson had a great start to this game, great decisions. The Pacific Light game summary shows you that Brad Kaya has come alive in the second half. 368 through the air with the 3 touchdowns, doing just a great job. And all of a sudden, there's a newfound energy in the stadium here in Tallahassee, and it's coming from the Canes fans that have traveled up north to the game.
They were thinking, uh-oh, look out early on, weren't they? Down 17-3 at one point. Now Golson rolls, flips it short. Saunders, the tight end, is hit immediately. That's a fired-up senior, Raphael Kirby, the vocal leader of that defense, up on the stop.
Yeah, Kirby is taking over for Perryman this year, is taking over, kind of being the leader of the defense. But I'll tell you, the other guy that's playing well tonight is Jermaine Grace. He has battled through an ankle that he's been dealing with the last couple games. When they're healthy, Kirby and Grace are great on the inside of this defense. Remember, this defensive line's been getting some penetration in the second half.
In 2nd and 8, Golson has good protection, delivers far side, incomplete. It was a high throw. Deion Bush was defending on Travis Rudolph, and it's going to be 3rd down and 8.
They closed in that time on Everett Golson. I think it affected him. He waited as long as he could. The ball is actually thrown late and behind his receiver, Rudolph. It would have been a heck of an effort for Rudolph to come up with the ball, but Bush, the senior, who's a 4-year guy, has been around for a long time, does a good job of timing that up to separate Rudolph from the football.
This has been a defense that's been criticized, and it's been justified. Miami was way ahead at Nebraska. The secondary minus 2 guys who were ejected for targeting. Nebraska came back, had a chance to win that game. They were ripped up by Cincy. They were ripped up early tonight, but they have turned it around
They
here.
got some confidence going right now.
4 to play in the 4th.
What a job Boykin did leading the Horned Frogs to a hard-earned road victory. And now Golson is to find a way to convert on 3rd and 8. Keep Meyer from getting the ball back. Delivers into traffic, catch made, 1st down, Bobo Wilson. He threaded that ball in there. Wilson took a shot but held on.
He sure did, and it's a good route scheme here. You'll see him work from the outside in, but watch the Florida State interior. Watch how they clear out and open up the passing lanes right here. See this defender being taken out, it opens up right here, and it's a good ball. He throws it right into the face of the defender.
Now a 1st down carry by Cook, but the Canes have done a good job after halftime containing number 4. Bertel Jenkins and Quan Muhammad stopped it.
I was wondering how this ball got, it went around Thomas. Thomas at 6'5" went up into the face of Golson. Golson somehow worked that ball around the much bigger Thomas. You're right about this defensive line. We were talking, you're seeing Thomas and Muhammad, especially 8 and 9, really be factors up front for the Miami defense.
And Golson flips it off to Whitfield, who's got some space. That enormous 20-yard play on 3rd and 8. Now the Noles are getting out near midfield. They don't need to move it too far to give Aguayo a chance to give them a lead. Going to be a very short 3rd down here. They haven't spotted the ball. It's going to be 3rd and about 1. And get the personnel they need now.
Remember, these short yardage situations have been tough for Florida State.
He's snapping it too. It's a play action fake. Golson rolling, gets the first down and sidesteps to the 46-yard line. So Golson has thrown and now run to convert on 3rd down in this drive.
Look at this great call. Look at this penetration. Watch Miami win this battle up front. And this is the reason that he's got to get away from that. They would not have had a chance of being able to convert on 3rd down. It's Jimbo Fisher acknowledging that, recognizing that, and getting away from all that penetration from Miami.
Everett Golson, a year ago on this field, was moving in the same direction as Notre Dame's quarterback, trying to engineer the come from behind drive against Florida State. Cook breaks free into the secondary. Darting down that far sideline, wrestled down inside the 25-yard line by Burns, with the Noles threatening again.
It doesn't take much of a crease. Kelly, the right tackle, 74, and also Wilson Bell doing just enough work against that Miami defensive line. And I love the effort by Bobo Wilson to get him another 7 or 10 yards because of his blocking as a wide receiver downfield. But it was the right guard and the right tackle that created just enough for that crease that time for Cook to get upfield.
23 more yards gives Cook a $183 for the game. Inside of 7 minutes, he's got it again. He's got a crease again. Slips a tackle. Cook headed for the end zone. $23 more yards. The hat trick for the Miami native puts the Seminoles back on top. 2 running, 1 receiving, and 206 on the ground. Now with a 5-point lead, Golson's on the field. Going to go for 2 to stretch it to 7. Great execution early in the drive by that man. And then again, Cook finishing it off. Golson being chased. Delivers incomplete. Izzo was short of the goal line anyway, so they don't get the 2-point try. The lead stays at 5. But after trailing for the first time, the Noles go 84 yards in 8 plays. Clutch conversions on 3rd down and a 3rd touchdown for Cook. Tuesday on ESPN, the 30 for 30 series returns with Trojan War, the story of the rise and fall of USC football under Pete Carroll. Tuesday, 9 Eastern on ESPN. So Aguayo to kick it away. Noles' first touchdown of the second half, and back up by 5.
Chris, they ran the exact same play for the touchdown as they did the play before. The right guard right here with a nice block. You have the right tackle as well here with Kelly with a nice block. And what he's going to do is he's going to end up hitting this crease right here. So you're going to see 2 more blocks that allow him to get up there. The center right here gets to grace just enough. And look at the effort by Bobo Wilson right there. So there's the crease. There's the effort by the wide receiver. The linebacker Grace is slowed just enough by Hofeld. And he ends up getting into the end zone.
Now Kaya and the Canes offense, which has had a strong second half, once again finds itself behind 75 yards away from a go-ahead touchdown. He tries for a big chunk on first down and completes it to Braxton Berrios. The slot receiver has been quite quiet tonight, but he gets it out to the 40.
Yeah, they're going back to the middle of the Florida State defense where they've had some success. So again, tight ends, receivers working from the outside back into the middle. That's where Kaya, until they stop it, if I'm Brad Kaya, I'm looking for those kind of matchups.
We got two tight ends, the two young guys, Herndon and Njoku, flex to the left, but he's looking back the other direction. Fires behind Rashawn Scott.
Miscommunication there. Safety blitz that time, and he and Scott not on the same page. He threw that ball one way and Scott turned the other.
What's at stake for this Miami program, which has never, under Al Golden, beaten any team that has finished the year ranked? That is not a list you want to be on, those kinds of programs. Chance to end the Noles' 5-game head-to-head winning streak and their 26-game ACC streak. But the ball's knocked free, still loose, and the Canes dive on it as the ball was knocked free there by DeMarcus Walker, and a heads-up recovery by Danielle Isadora, the guard.
They move Walker into the inside, 44 right there. How about that swim move? And then he goes right for the football with his left hand. I thought he was on top of it. He just could not squeeze the ball, and somehow it came out from underneath him.
Isadora got beaten badly by Walker, but at least he recovered the fumble.
How about that? How about the swim move to get by him, and then the left hand to smack the football away by DeMarcus Walker? Talk about an athlete.
It's Bedlam in here now on 3rd and 15. The only rush for Kaya is still in the pocket. Has a long downfield throw, was over the head of Njoku, who was well covered, looking for a flag, but there isn't one. 4th down.
Good coverage on the big tight end. He had a safety and a linebacker in his face.
It is so tough, Kirk. When they bring in that cheetah package, all those quick guys, and that offensive line has to figure out.
Yeah. And that, with that being said, Miami's had some success throwing the football on 3rd down here in this second half. That time he just had nobody open, and Florida State's defense after the touchdown steps up and gets the stop.
Vogel boots it to Wilson, who is knocked out across the 30-yard line. So the Noles back on offense, protecting the lead now with 5:16 to go. The Goodyear College Football Ranking shows you that it's been an eventful night. Michigan State trying to survive the huge upset bid in the banks of the Raritan from Rutgers. They had a go-ahead touchdown, up 7. Scarlet Knights trying to drive to tie it. Big upset at the Red River shootout. Oklahoma losing for the first time. Not seen on there is Michigan pitching its 3rd consecutive shutout. 20 years since an FBS team has done that.
Moral of the story is just keep winning, and you're going to keep going up because teams are losing.
Michigan belongs up in that top 10, and they'll take on the Spartans at home next week. This is Cook. Breaking free. Another nice gain. Boy, when you're trying to chew clock, you get 9 on first down. Jimbo Fisher's going to be smiling.
It's the exact same play that they ran the last 2 plays to the right. One was for a big gain, and then one was for a touchdown. It's just an outside stretch zone play. You're relying on the patience and vision of Dalvin Cook for him to put that foot in the ground and use the vision and then accelerate through the hole. He does that as well as anybody. And that line right now doing a good job of pushing the Miami defensive line sideways.
Cook has a first down. When you consider, Kirk, that we didn't know, nobody knew whether Cook was going to be able to start this game, finish the game, and now, after having rushed for 220 yards,
got hit there.
Yeah, no Noles back has ever had a better game against the Hurricanes. Remarkable.
No, it is remarkable.
He's got a high pain threshold, huh?
He does, because Jamal Carter, who's known as the hammer on that in the secondary, number 6, just lowered the boom on that right side. I don't know if it was a hand or a shoulder, but he kind of waved off the coaches saying, I'm going to stay out here. Miami's playing so well, they've got to be careful. Cook will hit a crease and he can go all the way to the end zone.
Ball start. 77 offense, 5 yards. Still
It was
first
Cook who
down.
had the game-winning touchdown run a year ago, of course, down in Miami, and he's gotten the go-ahead touchdown
Here's
here.
this, coming from the left, not this one, but that one right there. Ball
He lost the
actually
ball.
came
Wow.
out. Well, he was. I'm telling you, Jamal Carter, the junior at Homestead, he can hit you, and he came in at full speed and hit Dalvin Cook. For him to let go of that football tells you what that, how much of a collision that was.
Bounced right back to him. Have not had a turnover tonight yet. First and 15 after the penalty. Cook again right back to work. It's a short gain. Inside of 3.5 now.
I mean, with all 3 timeouts, but they're definitely thinking about coming up with a stop to try to get the football back.
We'll spend one here. ESPN will have a Sports Center right after the Cali-Utah game. 10-10 right there. Full recap of a busy day in college football. Highlights from the MLB postseason. Then Sports Center at night later on ESPN. Otherwise, ESPN app. Knowles trying to bleed the clock out, protect a hard-earned victory. 2nd and 13 here. Golson takes off quickly. Canes are ready for him. Knock him down. It'll be another 3rd and long. They'll need about 11 yards as Golden spends his 2nd timeout.
Interesting, with 3.5 to go, using their timeouts.
They're all in on this series pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, Cook, we talked about the hamstring problem that he carried into this game out of Wake Forest. He has been electric from the start. Long touchdown run, over 70 yards in his first score. Caught a pass, walked in, and then another burst here. The go-ahead touchdown here in the 4th quarter. Playing against his hometown team and against his good buddy Joe Yearby on the other side. One tough customer. The guy, by the way, that was facing that trial for misdemeanor battery allegations that he'd struck a woman outside a bar here. They went to trial. Only took about a half hour. The jury found him not guilty, and all the Seminole fans took a deep breath. Oh, we're going to have number 4 for the season.
They took a team picture, one where he came in, number 4 came into the picture, and then one where, okay, now you have to step down. And I mean, it was that serious.
Exactly. Yeah, it was about a 6-week suspension.
Yeah, I mean, he was either going to be on the team or not on the team, depending on the outcome of that. Here's maybe the play of the game right here.
So Cook's on the sidelines, and Golson has 5 receivers to work with on 3rd and 11. Low snap and a flag. A false start on the offense. They were probably lucky that false start nullified the play, because Golson was in trouble.
False start. Offense, 78. 5 yards. 3rd down.
It's Wilson Bell, but Hofeld's snap was very low.
And it was late. 3 of the offensive linemen moved. They're going to call it on poor Bell, but I think Hofeld may have had a miscommunication on the snap when he's supposed to fire it back there. I think that was on the center.
Now we need 16 on 3rd down. Golson has room to run. Now flips it short. Whitfield makes a man miss, but can't make a second man miss. Raphael Kirby, the linebacker, wrapped him up at midfield, and he goes out of bounds, so the Canes can keep that final timeout.
They keep the timeout, and the clock stops, and you're looking at plenty of time. Now it's a matter of execution and trying to be able to move the ball down the field. But time at this point is not something that Brad Kaya has to have extreme urgency when he gets the football back here. Not at the beginning of the drive, anyway.
So some mistakes by the Noles there. The Canes went all in, spent the 2 timeouts. And now Cornelder standing at his 10-yard line. Beatty, of course, will try to pooch it deep. It's a high kick. Not a very good one. Elder jumps forward, makes a fair catch at the 19-yard line. So the Hurricanes are going to be 81 yards away with 2:45 to work with as we check in with Cassidy.
All right,
Chris, last time we talked, Michigan State was in some trouble, but L.J. Scott scores on a 3-yard run, and Sparty survives 31-24. And over on ESPN, Utah up 16-10 in the second. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
All eyes on this Hurricane offense. Down by 5 in a similar situation to last year at home.
As a quarterback in a rivalry game, this is what Brad Kaya has been laying around over the summer, dreaming about having an opportunity like this to drive the length of the field and win the game.
The first down throw is batted down, and it was a Jalen Ramsey interception that ended the drive attempt a year ago. Newberry got a hand on that throw.
I cannot get over the difference in Newberry from a year ago. It's as if the light has gone off for him in his senior year. Plays with such effort. I think of all the defensive linemen, there's a lot of guys with a lot of talent up there, but I don't know if anybody plays with the motor that Newberry, number 4, plays with.
Second and 10. They only rush 3. Kaya throws it underneath. Barrios trying to escape. Can't. And it'll be 3rd and 4.
Remember, Stacy Coley is in the locker room. The guy who's had a great football game tonight. He's not available. He leads them tonight, 7 receptions, 139 yards. So you're looking at Scott and you're looking at Barrios and Waters have got to step up.
Kaya delivers. Catch made. And it's Yearby with a first down across the 36.
And I really think just watching how Yearby came out of the backfield, this is who he wanted to get the football to the whole time. Watch that move right there. He was able to break away from Northrup. Open field, plenty of room to work with, but I think the entire time they cleared it out with the receivers and he checked it down underneath to Yearby one-on-one matchup.
Inside of 2 minutes now. Kaya again, batted down. DeMarcus Walker that time. This is a Knowles defensive line, so good, especially late in games, and not getting the push. They get the big arms up and deflect passes.
Yeah, especially when you're only rushing 3 guys. I mean, you got some big bodies that are athletic, that are rotating, by the way. They're moving a lot of different people in and out. Featherston now, 41, the sophomore, comes into the game with a really long wingspan.
Kaya told me this week that's what drives him crazy about FSU. They're so well schooled at that. Here's a throw incomplete. Well covered was Herb Waters. 3rd and 10. We got 2 plays to get 10 yards and keep hope alive for Al Golden and this team.
And you don't have to panic and go downfield. I mean, the throw, for example, to Yearby was a great play. I mean, it dumped it down on about a 5-yard route. He catches it, he picks up another 5 or 6 yards, and it's a first down. So he doesn't have to panic with 1:40 and feel like he has to go downfield.
Kaya on the run, delivers a high throw, catch made, fighting back as Waters doesn't get first down yardage. It'll be 4th down and 3, and it'll come down to this.
Yeah, and obviously the 4th and 3, you see the clock is running, the 1 timeout, with the assumption that if they keep this drive alive, they have to hold on to that last timeout.
Miami didn't come here for moral victories. They need a play here. Keep their chances alive. For the 3rd time in the drive, it's batted down by the Knowles, and they'll take over in the final minute.
But Charles Kelly bringing the pressure. And by the way, guess who got his hand up there? Newberry again. The big number 4 at 6'6", climbs the ladder, times it up. Watch 4 right in the middle. You see Blitz. He's kind of dropping. And when he dropped, he kept his eyes on Kaya. See how he's in the double team in the middle? Eyes on Kaya. And then he's going to go up. And if he doesn't make that play, Waters catches the football, and it's a first down.
It is, for Miami fans and players, heartbreaking shades of last year when they were in a similar position, driving and deflected passes undid their chances. That ended in a Ramsey pick. In Miami, after battling all the way back from 17-3 down, having the lead here, is going to feel more pain at the hands of their arch rivals as the Noles are going to make it 27 in a row in the ACC. 6 in a row over the Hurricanes.
Yeah, this Florida State football team has a lot of talent. They're only going to get better. There's so many new faces in some key areas. Well, and to me, it's the offensive line and Everett Golson. As they gel, they're going to get better. A big showdown with Clemson coming up down the road. And for Miami, boy, you just feel for them. They've been so close, and they battle so hard for Al Golden. You can only imagine what they're going to deal with now, and they got to go back home to Miami and deal with the aftermath of losing yet again to a rival in Florida State.
This guy, Kaya, 405 yards passing, and he will be gutted after coming up short again to the Seminoles, who just find ways to make plays. They've done it for a few years here. Jimbo Fisher, control early in this game. Dalvin Cook, just a monster evening. 222 yards rushing, ran for 2, caught a touchdown pass. And it'll be a long trip back to the 305 for Miami again. Walker in that defense coming up huge on the final drive. The Ford wrap-up coming up in moments with Cassidy Hubbard. The Canes and Noles treat us to another classic here. Didn't look that way early. Miami shows fight. Florida State, again, just a little bit better at the end. And they move to 5-0, 3-0 in the ACC. Canes got to keep it together. They can't come unraveled the way they did last year.
The last 2 years.
It's a much earlier game than those games. This is only the conference opener. This doesn't really affect their chances of winning the Coastal. But, you know, it's going to be tough to recover from that.
They could have another shot in Florida State.
Perhaps.
Never know.
In the meantime, the Noles keep rolling. And Jimbo Fisher's with Heather.
Chris, thanks so much, Coach. Congratulations. A rivalry game, a very emotional one indeed. Congratulations on the win. Now, once again, like last year, tested, came down to the final series. What did your team show you tonight?
A lot of resiliency. This team keeps evolving like I talk about. We ain't worried about anything but the next week. That's all we're worried about. This team keeps growing. They understand what we're doing. We got a lot of young, very talented football players that are learning how to be champions. They're learning how to play championship ball. We got a ton of ways to go. We're very proud of them. That's what this game always comes down to. It don't matter. It's Miami, Florida State, baby.
One of the doubts coming in was your super stud, Dalvin Cook, on whether or not he could go. Was there ever any doubt in your mind?
After Wednesday, and when you look in his eyes, guys, there's a different guy in there. That guy's a champion. He's an unbelievable guy. And he told me, he said, Coach, I'm ready. And I was scared he was trying to be ready and not. But our trainers and every number stayed up. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm glad he's on my team. I promise you that, baby.
Very impressive. And your quarterback looked great as well tonight. What gave you the confidence in Everett Golson to open up the playbook for him?
Well, I think it's been evolving, trying to understand how we call the game. It takes some time. You know, we still got a long way. There's still a lot of little things we left on that field. But he's understanding what our system is now and how we play. And he's doing a great job of managing the game. Now he's starting to make the big plays.
Coach, enjoy a belated birthday present and a big win over Miami.
Thank you.
Gonna talk to your superstar, Dalvin. Congratulations on an exceptional performance. And like Coach said, we didn't even know whether or not you were going to play. At what point did you know that you'd be able to do what you did tonight?
Actually, it was up and down all week. And, you know, the trainers got me ready. And, you know, they did a great job of doing that. So it was a last-minute thing. And Coach asked me when I came out here, did I feel good? And I told him I felt great and warm up. So I was ready to go.
Could you have pictured a better way to come back and have over 200 yards against the team? You were a Miami native. Biggest game of the season so far for you, and best performance by FSU running back ever against Miami. Could you have scripted it any better?
No, man. Just give it all to my brothers. And, you know, we came out here, competed. And, you know, that's the outcome. And, you know, I'm just happy for my brothers and this win. It's Miami, so you got to love it.
You did have to sit out a little bit in the first half to address that hamstring. How much of a concern was it? How much did you have to take care of it tonight?
You know, I had to stay warm. It wasn't that. It just got tight on me in that long run. So I just had to go address it, and I had to get back out there. That was it.
Congrats on a great win, Dalvin.
Well, of course, Cook is our AT&T strong performance. Showed you the whole skill set. Showed you a very high pain tolerance. It began with an electric touchdown run early. Added another one, caught a touchdown pass, and then, of course, the run there at the end to seal it. Very reminiscent of last year's game. It was Miami that night, jumping out to a big lead, battling back. Turns around tonight here. And it feels good, of course, because he grew up in Miami. So the Noles have Louisville here next. They got 7 games in 7 weeks. The first 5 are ACC games. And, of course, the big showdown with Clemson November 7th. They'll be heavily favored in all the other games around that in the schedule.
I think for Florida State, they'll be able to look at the film. It's always great when you win a game and you can still learn from it and still get better. You just heard Jimbo Fisher kind of echo what we've been saying. When you have new offensive linemen, a new quarterback, you're only going to get better each week. So that's exciting for Florida State. And for Miami, you just wonder, looking at them sitting over there on the sideline after that game, again, you wonder where their mindset will be. Losing to Cincinnati, getting ready for a rivalry game, losing the way they did. Are they going to be ready to lock in? And there's so much still to accomplish this season. And as we said, if they're able to gather themselves and stay focused and play the way they did tonight, who knows? Maybe they'll end up in Charlotte and have a chance at Florida State again.
They dropped to 3-2. They got division rival Virginia Tech next, and they got to go to Clemson. So they better not be as gutted by this loss as they looked in the immediate aftermath. Florida State 29-24. Another great chapter in this rivalry. Next Saturday night on ABC, it'll be Penn State visiting Ohio State in the Big Ten battle on the banks of the Olentangy. Bill Bonnell produced it. Derek Mobley directed it. For Kirk and Heather and our entire crew, I'm Chris Fowler. Good night from Tallahassee. The Ford Wrap-Up Show coming up with Cassidy Hubbard.